Yes, and I was also rocking out. I saw you in the back screen there, Ollie Man. Ollie Man was fucking throwing down all his Phil Collins headbang dance moves. I don't know what that was, but hello everybody, and welcome to Neil the 604 Atheist Baxter W After Party. I am Neil the 604 Atheist.
Are you?
All your hosts are belong to us. I finally
got that
have
reference.
seized control. Thank you. See, I knew me and Baxter would get along.
Oh no!
Well, because
Neil
we're...
stole Mikey's body so that he could be immortal and live forever.
Is that the oldest internet meme?
It's got to be close to it. No, it's the dancing baby, right?
Can't remember that. Oh, that was such a creepy commercial. I remember being creepy. Oh, wait, 1 second, guys. With me today is, of course, the guest of honor, Baxter. Hello, Baxter. They call him Dishonest Ape around here. We just call him Jonathan. Jonathan is with us.
Hi.
He came, he stagged, he jagged. Staggers and Jags is in the chat.
I was worried how you were going to pronounce that last little bit.
Yeah.
Jizz.
He may not be your personal financial guru, but he is ours. He's the Irish Swede. Dude, I should have. All right, everybody back to one. I have a new idea how to do this. I want to do like the 97 Bulls announcer. So it's like the man in the middle, all the way from Labrador. Fucking Canadian Ollie, man. What's up, brother?
I'm not from Labrador. I'm from Prince Edward Island, dude. Labrador is part of Newfoundland.
Same difference.
No, not even close.
It's all Canada.
PEI is its own province.
Prince Edward Island and Newfoundland had a war. Newfoundland threw a bunch of grenades at us. We pulled the pins and threw them back.
Oh, there it is.
You can have Rhode Island, but we get to keep Boston.
Wait, no, wrong island. Prince Edward Island, not Rhode Island.
Yeah,
is
Prince
Rhode Island
Edward
even
Island.
an island?
I think it is.
It better be.
As long as we got the San Juan Islands, I'm happy.
I was going to ask you, Ollie. Oh, Ollie,
most of the state is mainland, but there is in fact a Rhode Island in Rhode Island that it takes its name from.
What was that now, Mike? I didn't hear you.
Oh, you know what? Points to the arrogant whale. I get this. What are you all spouting off about? Get it? Spout.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on.
And we've been on fire tonight. I've really appreciated all those name changes. I'm a little partial to Baxter's Army of Roombas, though.
It was a good one.
I don't know why I went straight to Ultron, but I just saw a bunch of Ultrons just like just like cleaning your shit, running into stuff.
Hey, highly relevant AI in this day and age.
I was really worried about the singularity for a long time, and then I realized we won't have enough graphics cards for AI. Like they would make one, and then they'd have to find some way to construct other graphics cards, but then we'd be in line with them. So it's all.
Are you saying that crypto is actually saving us?
Or what if the
crypto is the AI?
I was about to say, what if crypto becomes
crypto?
Sentient?
That would be scary.
Oh no, dude! This is how it happens. This is how it happens.
That's funny. No, I don't actually think that. Despite the fact that I want to use that analogy, I don't think that artificial intelligence will ever really come from a computer, well, any reasonable size. Because like the one thing that's missing is neurons don't just fire like 1 or 0. They constantly remap themselves to neighboring neurons. We do not have any like computer stuff that's just constantly remapping itself to a different, 1 or 0.
I don't know. I had to remap my hard drive a little bit ago, and that felt awful.
Exactly. It's super slow.
I totally know what that means. I'm not lost.
Hey, he changed his name back. Nice. Baxter's Army of Roombas. Oh man.
Right.
He couldn't.
No, he's probably logged into both accounts. He'll go back and forth between them.
What are you talking about? It's a totally different person. That's a first-time viewer is who that is.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And if you guys missed the Mr. interview and you're wondering where Neil is, he got a little lippy, and I popped him. And he's got a broken nose, and he's a little embarrassed about it. Gave him a shiner. So yeah, he's scared to come on. No, Neil's tummy is upset, so we think we know what it is. He's fine, but he should probably be sleeping instead of staying up late and smoking with us. But you guys can stay up late and smoke with us if you want.
Yep. That's
Not
what I'm
legally
doing.
where I'm at. Hopefully someday.
Yeah, I don't.
Unconstitutional, but it's not legal.
Crypto America is a highly relevant username to the conversation we were just having.
I know, right? I was like, "What the?" The crypto bots heard me. I'm sorry.
That's
It's become America.
Once again, you never know.
I don't want to launch an uprising against the machines. I don't. I promise I don't.
So if you go back a week ago to the Bitcoin subreddit, it was announced, that like Jordan B. Peterson and a few other people of that ilk were announced as speakers for the Bitcoin convention, and all of them started to post the "Are we the baddies?" meme because they're like, if we're attracting this, maybe we should get out.
That's funny. Yeah. And everyone has that. Everyone has a story. Everyone in the world at some point will have a story like, I remember if I had just bought into Bitcoin back in 2011.
Yeah.
I remember when I heard about it. If I just listened to that guy.
Well, it's the same with every stock that, of every up and coming company that, you hear about. And then you realize, no, you couldn't have bought in stock in that company because it wasn't public.
I actually do have a really good story about that. When I was younger, I mentioned I was on the robotics team. That's that kind of nerd. And I tried to apply for an internship at a growing company called Tesla. At the time, they had 12 employees. And
Oh, really?
I was like, and I told my dad, I said, Dad, this place is going to take off. They wouldn't take me, by the way. They're like, we don't accept interns. We don't have any structure for an intern. We only have 12 people. Get out of here. But like I told my dad, I said, Dad, you need to invest in this company called Tesla. Like that year. This is like 2009 or something.
Oh, that hurts.
Was that
them,
before
told them
Elon? Was that before Elon bought the rights to say he founded it?
It's a good question. I really don't know. I just know I got a generic email rejection.
If I would have just picked the winning lottery numbers, I'd be a million.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's what you say. Like when you say like, if I would have bought into Apple or if I would have bought into Tesla.
I nearly bought a lottery ticket, and then later somebody won the lottery.
Yeah.
I almost gambled.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta take your joys where you can find them, even if they're imaginary. Sometimes like this. Okay, that was a bad example because we just talked about rejecting all the imaginary, but
Yeah. I'm at a weird spot. Let's get some advice here. Let's get some advice from the panel. I have an opportunity maybe to do what I want to do for a living as opposed to what is secure to do for a living.
Do it.
Am I too old to roll the dice?
Do it.
I don't know how
You're gonna die, Mikey. Just do it.
I'm 34.
You're gonna die someday, dude.
You're still plenty young, dude. Do whatever you need to.
I think age is not what matters. What mostly matters is whether or not you have a family you need to support. If you don't have that, then I say go for it. You could just bounce back into a secure job later.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna work where you don't want to for the rest of your life till you die?
Well, see, the thing with me, for example, is like my partner. She's like leaving her job to go to med school, so she's not gonna have any insurance. And I should keep at the company that has nice insurance.
Wait. She's going to med school and she doesn't have insurance? America is broke. It is fucking broken.
Well, she could get student insurance.
The irony.
Yeah.
The med. Oh my.
Yeah.
Moving to Canada.
Yeah.
I got a fun exercise for you guys. I'd love to talk to you about. So the other day, I was trying to explain to someone how the Jewish Bible, the Torah, I should say the first 4 books of the Bible, how they came together. They're like, yeah, but where did the stories come from? They didn't just make it up out of their head. And I said, okay, picture this. Mexico starts a war in the year 2800. They beat the USA and Canada. They take all of our governors, our president, and all of our scientists. They burn down all our libraries. They take all of our leaders and they move them off to the Yucatan Peninsula. So they're just hiding out there. They have no record of their culture, their history, nothing like that. And they're like, shit, man, we need to write things down. Does anyone have any books? No, no one has any books. Okay, well, what do you remember from your like childhood stories? We gotta have something. Like, okay, well, I remember there's this guy named George Washington. Oh, great, cool. So George Washington was sent from the heavens to take back the land from the evil natives. And
so are you using that to compare how the Hebrew people wrote their text while in captivity in Babylon?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it just so happens that this was a very inspirational story for people who were living in captivity that was written by these people who were fucking living in captivity.
Yeah. Just so happens that, you know, they didn't like the people who currently owned the land they were trying to get. Yeah.
Also, it's pretty clear that a lot of the early Jewish stories come directly from the Babylonian religion. Like they're just transferred over and changed and adapted, and
there's a number of
like
them.
some of their gods and stuff like that.
Like there's a pretty strong theory, in my opinion, that Zoroastrianism, the original, well, I shouldn't say the original, but the oldest Zoroastrianism is a religion of, it's like the oldest religion in the world that we know about. It's from like well, not
Well, it's
really.
the oldest that still exists.
Yeah, exactly. Oldest that still exists. It's from Iran, or modern day Iran, and they believed that the world was created in a fight of good versus evil. There's like these ultimate equal beings that are good versus evil, and there wasn't really any appearance of a devil in Christian texts until after the captivity, where they were exposed to Zoroastrianism. So,
they lifted that shit.
Yeah, they're thinking they got kind of inspired by like, you know, actually, maybe all those evil things in the world aren't just God punishing us. Maybe there's also an evil force. And
Yep.
But anyway, we were thinking about these like analogs between the Hebrew Bible and like what we could make, because some people think that myths only happened 2,000 years ago, and we don't make anymore. And I'm like, that's not true at all. Like, what about Paul Bunyan? Like, who made him? That's pretty recent.
The Ghost of Kiev.
Every movie
is a myth.
Huh?
Yeah.
The Ghost of Kiev is a myth.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. See, he could be.
And quite honestly, we've just changed the way we're presenting myths now. Myths are now all of our fantasy movies that are out there.
I'm about to say Spider-Man is a myth.
But I think there's real world ones too, like the Ghost of Kiev. Like it was just a video game capture or something. But there was one pilot that has 2 confirmed kills, and so somebody heard that, and it blew up to
all 7. Yeah.
So like myths happen all the time. Like, and it's so easy to imagine. Like if it was 500 years from now, Ukraine telling a heroic story where the Ghost of Kiev, like an actual ghost now, because, you know, piloted their planes, took over. It was an unmanned plane that just took off from the runway, started killing everybody, and landed. Like, that's how it happens. It's not too hard.
I believe it.
That makes sense to me.
Are the history books later on, like in like 200 years, for this time period, is it just going to be like a fucking chart of like how to explain a meme, what are memes, who made the first meme? Like, there's going to be like a meme history course in the distant future.
Yeah.
Well,
first thing to keep in mind there is that memes predate the internet.
Yeah, they got the guy from World War II, the dude with the nose.
Kilroy. Kilroy is a meme.
That's what he was. Yeah.
Yep. Kilroy.
Mm-hmm. He's in the textbooks.
See, sorry to start.
He wasn't changed from iteration to iteration though, so I don't know if that would really count.
I mean, the idea. I feel bad for Darwin.
Sort of the idea is that a meme is something that presents itself through humans and reproduces using them.
I was gonna say, talk to Dawkins. He coined the term, but unfortunately, it's run away from him.
Yeah, it's like an idea that it's a bit of information that replicates and transfers and mutates from human brain to human brain.
Yeah,
was the definition I got from.
Yeah,
Dawkins.
no, that's what I got as well. It's like,
I thought it was a
brilliant
meme and it was a weird picture.
No, but the weird pictures fall under that definition.
They do, yeah.
So I actually used to find myself getting upset when people use the word meme to just mean any picture they found online. Because I feel like there's got to be some substance to it. It's got to propagate a little bit in order to be a meme.
Yeah.
So
it's
you'll
not
have a
really the hill I
12-year-old
want. It's not the hill I want to die on, though.
Yeah,
is
it's
my
not the hill I
thing.
want to die on either. But occasionally you have a 12-year-old who tells you, "I made a meme," and you want to look at him and go, "No, you made a picture."
Yeah.
Nope, meme. Give it a few years. That definition will change.
You know what? I'm guilty of that because I made what I've called a meme, but no, it wasn't based on any other pre-existing template or anything like that. It was just my own.
Stop
It was just
being
a
12
picture joke.
stags.
It's just a picture joke.
It's a funny caption on a picture.
Yeah. You got Tom Waits on one side and it says Tom Waits, and then you got Tom Cruise running and it says Tom Cruises.
Yeah. You don't know
that's
if you've
just a joke.
created a meme until it's become mimetic.
Yeah, you don't choose to make a meme.
Meme life chose me.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
The world chooses the meme.
Tons of Mice says that Ollie's dog is a myth.
Just
It's true. He says that every time that I'm on, or something along those lines. My dog's imaginary.
Even though we've all seen the dog.
Exactly.
Oh, you've seen the Dog of Legend?
And she's 12, deaf, and she doesn't have a good, like, her hind end is kind of getting sore. So she's sleeping out in the kitchen now. So I'm not going to go get her to show her again. It'd just be me.
I can't believe you're from the East Coast, Ollie. And you just said that when you said she's out in the kitchen there. It just sounds so Canadian to me, or Minnesotan, really.
East Coast of Canada.
Well, he is Canadian.
I am Canadian.
Wait,
East
when you
Coast
said
of Canada.
Oh, okay, that's what you said. Yeah.
Canada has an East Coast, you know, by.
That's
Yeah.
no.
Prince Edward Island, Canada.
Prince Edward Island. Give it a quick Google map. It's
No, I know where it is. I don't. I thought he said. Oh man, he said before that I was from the East Coast or something. I thought, but never mind.
East Coast of Canada.
Yeah, I know. That's American arrogance in its finest.
Oh shit!
Did someone call me?
Yep.
Manifest destiny. God damn it. We own both coasts.
No, wait, you guys.
All
So
the coasts, even
I
the
hate to drag it back to this, but so my friend and I were making fun of it. We started carrying it on more and more, and we were going to make like a, they got like the Torah or like the Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, yada yada, Leviticus, that book that they've developed in exile. I'm just thinking about it, and I was thinking like, no, it could be totally true. Like for example, they go to take the land of Canaan. Instead of that, they take the land of North America, and George Washington leads them, and he brings his 13 original tribes, named, Massachusetts, New Jersey, yada yada, led by the people, and they come over and take over the land. Like there's so many parallels you can make to these stories, like in modern day. Like you could talk about the instead of the devil in the desert, you could have the Sasquatch in the desert.
Don't forget about Commander Adama and the 12 tribes searching for the 13.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about the original 13 states. You could have 50 tribes.
Did you know that the idea of the native, the idea of the Native Americans being one of the lost tribes of Israel predates Mormonism?
Yeah, because he got it from a book. It was a popular book.
It was actually like the prevailing idea at the time.
Well, they had to come up for an explanation why, for some reason, they'd never heard about this landmass that had never seen Jesus. And they're like, oh, no, it's the lost tribe.
Well, according to
Mormonism, this fucking square peg won't fit in this round hole, damn it.
Keep hitting it with the hammer.
They didn't know the shape of the hole at the time. That's the problem.
So throwing this out there, fitting a square peg into a round hole is actually a really good woodworking technique in certain applications.
It's a press fit.
If the round hole is big enough, the peg will fit.
Well, the trick is to taper the peg in such a way so that it compresses its own fibers as you hammer it in.
It's a press fit. Keeps it hold in.
Yeah, I always threw those away when they put those in like the build your own fucking nightstand kits from IKEA. Yeah, just fucking throw those out. Go get a screw from the garage. Don't have time for your pegs.
That Mormonism stuff. I was dangerously close to being a Mormon because right when I had left Christianity, I had a good Mormon friend who thought he had all the answers for me, and he sent a couple of Mormons to my house. They gave me a book. They had like a couple talks with me. I read the first chapter of that book. The first 2 chapters of that book. I have it still in my I have my notes in it over there. In the first 2 chapters, it starts off with the basics, like they come from Israel all across the Atlantic over to the US, and then they create the tribes over here or whatever. So it starts off in Israel. They got this imaginary guy, and he needs to get a map to go to the US or something like that. But this rich guy owns it. And so God says, well, go take it from him. And so he just walks up and tries to take it. The rich guy, it like straight up says this in the story, thinks that they're trying to rob him, which they are, and he kicks them off. He didn't do anything besides kick them off their land. That's all that happens. And then
get out, please.
Yeah, all he says is like basically leave me alone. So they go back to the forest, and then God comes back down. He says, you know what? He's clearly an evil man. You need to kill him right now. Like straight up direct order to murder a human being without giving him any chance to understand what the heck's going on.
Execute Order 66 on this bitch.
I brought it up.
Write a book in the Bible. This sounds good.
Man, I brought it up to my Mormon friends, and they're just like, well, you know, God has morality above us. And I'm like, yeah, I heard that before. Okay, bye. Man, yeah, that book is still haven't finished it. I couldn't. It was just too wild.
The Bible? Yeah, fuck.
No, the Book of Mormon.
Oh yeah. It's just as crazy.
Yeah, equal parts crazy.
I've got a lot of friends from different cultures now that I left Christianity, and so I got a buddy of mine who really wants me to read the I can't remember what it's called. Not the Hindu Vedas, but like some of the Hindu holy texts.
The Bhagavad Gita?
Not that one. It's like Rama. I can't remember it.
Ramadan.
Not Ramadan.
Well, the Bhagavad Gita is part of what, like a larger text of like 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the story of, I can't remember, 2 gods talking on their way to battle.
Well,
it's
a
going to murder all their brothers. Or
well, it's a prince talking to the gods, and the prince is right before a battle, and the prince is lamenting the fact that people are going to die and everything, and the gods are telling him, well, everyone dies, so you're just part of this greater system. So yeah.
Twitch channel.
Yeah.
How does that even how is that an origin story? Like that's all I'm like trying to think of all these. I'm just like,
well, no, the Bhagavad Gita is not an origin story.
Yeah, so they have a loose collection of texts because they never had like an official reason to like actually stamp something across the nation of India. So they have a whole collection of stuff, and like there's like different pieces and different texts from different areas. It's kind of loose.
But it is one of the, if you boil it down, the Brahmin is actually the head or the top personality of all the gods, and when at the end of days, all the gods become the Brahmin. So it is kind of monotheistic in a way.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis was big on that. He was like, he used it. I just read Mere Christianity at someone's request. I don't know why, but I did. And C.S. Lewis was big on, well, you can't really have a polytheism because one god has to be the highest. And like he gave example of Hinduism where Brahman is the highest and he will absorb all the other gods. But like, what about Zoroastrianism? Or like, there's lots of ones that are not like that.
The Japanese one where it's a brother and a sister or something like that, where they're 2 equal parts and they're not necessarily always opposed.
And Japan is like almost animism. Like they have like thousands of like spirits with tails in every
originally until the Chinese came over and gave them Shinto.
Well, that's the thing in Japan. They have this distinction between how they live their lives and how they do their funerals. So you have Shinto for your life, but you have a Buddhist funeral.
Yeah, it's really strange. I'd love to know how they. I don't think they think about it too much, really.
Well, there's only one way to find out. All right, guys. To the helicopter, and then we all flew over to Japan.
I like how 90% of Japanese think like Christmas is when Jesus died, and Easter is, some other like religious holiday that has nothing to do with Jesus at all. And like if they do like a man on the street in Tokyo, and
I love those videos.
Yes, and you have
and
cake
then
and fried chicken on Christmas.
and then I don't remember the company that did the survey, but they actually did a survey where the Japanese people literally celebrate these holidays but have no idea what's behind them. They just know Hello Kitty has a Christmas gown. Good. And that's it.
I don't think most Americans Most Americans probably don't know what's really behind the religion or the holidays we celebrate either. Like
well, they have the idea of what they're told based on the religious preference that they're brought up in.
True. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Do you know Hello Kitty is like the third most lucrative brand in the world behind Disney?
Wait. Oh, you gave it away. I was gonna have them guess.
Shoot.
I knew the answer.
I should have muted you. I should have just muted you. Like, no.
I was that smart kid in class. I would have ruined it right away anyway.
Well, actually. That's crazy to me. Like, more than Disney, I would never think that Pokemon was bigger than Disney, but I guess that's that American bias. Where it's like, Pokemon's good, but they ain't fucking with fucking Mickey Mouse. I'm sorry, what? And it's like not even close.
Yeah, what blows my mind is how like Hollywood movies, like the vast majority of their income now is coming from international. And so like they're having less reason to make a coherent American movie. Like,
well, that's good. We could do with a couple of do-overs. There's a couple of Disney movies that probably didn't need to get made.
Well, I got to talk on this. Sorry, this is probably you guys don't care much, but Airlock said, I learned this year the reason we have Christmas trees is a leftover from the pagan religion where they decorated the home with evergreens to add color to the winter. So that is true. Yep. I actually spent a decent amount of time researching this for a friend. And I'm kind of proud of where Christmas trees in the US come from because it comes from Lutheranism. So yes, there were trees to decorate during pagan rituals in the Nordic countries, the Germanic countries, etc. But that practice died for about 1,000 years. And then along came the Christianity in Europe, and there was a tradition to put candles on trees, like souls or something. I can't remember what it was. But Martin Luther is actually... Yeah, he's actually credited with deciding to bring one of the trees inside his house. So, like, yes, there was pagan rituals that had trees inside their house before any Christian idea, but the modern tradition does trace it back to Martin Luther. And I think it's a complete fabrication. It was probably some other random dude in the town, and they were like, no, but Martin Luther did it.
Convenient.
No, the raging anti-Semite. Yeah, Martin Luther.
That guy was, man, despite being a Lutheran,
I grew up in the LCMS church, so I can.
Oh, because I mentioned the Missouri Synod. Were you listening to that?
No, I wasn't able. I have family, so I was putting kids to bed while you were doing it.
Yeah, no, I was raised in the ELCA, so not yours. But you're much more conservative.
Not the jackbooted conservative.
Oh, they're wild. But no, the Lutheran Church in general, yeah. That's fun. I didn't know that.
What acronyms are you guys saying? That is not normal English. What is that? What is the MCS? Yeah, so just fucking me. I'm from the NSA. What's up? Like, what are you talking about? So, what was your suite?
Pick any denomination in the country: Baptist, Lutheran, Anglican, whatever. There will be a conservative and a liberal version of it. In Lutheranism,
there's three.
Well, there is now, but it's very small. The third one. The main two in Lutheranism are ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. It does not mean evangelical like modern evangelicals. It means like the original evangelical, like just I liked the book more than your traditions kind of evangelical. But then very quickly it broke into conservative and liberal. And the conservative one is the Missouri Synod, by founding it in Missouri, or at least the coalition of churches was created in Missouri. And they're the people who are like, women can't preach. Y'all have to be super, they're very conservative.
Closed communion, women can't preach, women can't be anything, can't do anything in the church except for be young child education, Sunday school, like less than a certain grade even. Like they can't teach over third grade Sunday school or something like that.
Like I can't understand the benefit of that. Like even if like you wanted to be like, other than just being a controlling douche monster, like what do you gain by not getting help? I guess just I don't know.
I would say the LCMS are more politarians than they are Christians.
What's the LCMS stand for again? Lutheran something.
Lutheran Church Missouri Synod.
Okay, there you go.
And then there's the third one, which is Wells, which came out of the the LCMS aren't jackbooted Nazis enough, so we're gonna take it. way even further,
Uh,
which is the Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran.
That's what it is. Wisconsin one, yeah. Oh man, that's close to me too. I'm glad I wasn't part of that. I actually just found out last year that my dad wasn't even a Lutheran when he was raised, because I was looking at family history records. I'm really big into family history, and I found church attendance records for his grandparents in a Presbyterian church, and I was like, "What's up with this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I was Presbyterian. Then I met your mom." I'm like, "What? You just changed that flippantly?"
Yeah, my dad was Presbyterian as well before he and my mom got married. And then my mom basically threw the old boot down and said, "You're converting."
Oh man,
are you guys brothers? Are you guys long lost brothers? Did we just solve something?
No, we probably just.
Hey, I gotta say though, I don't meet a ton of Lutherans in the ex-Christian space online, because the people who, in my opinion, come online to be actually like vocal about them leaving Christianity are people who are hurt by it. So they come from more conservative stuff normally. LCMS is pretty conservative, but like mostly it's like ex-evangelical, like crazy stuff.
See, I come from I wanted to be a pastor, so I went to Concordia Seward. You probably know about Concordia St. Paul.
Yeah, I do.
Which is part of the system. Concordia Mequon, there's one in Mequon, Wisconsin. There's one in River Forest, Illinois, over by Mikey.
That's why you know so much about Lutheranism. You actually went to seminary.
And so I was hurt in the capacity of it really stunted my growth in the sciences, because if you're on the pastor track, you're in the young earth creationism mindset.
Yeah. See that I'm very fortunate that my church was not like that.
And meeting my now wife, she's Catholic, which is very much we sponsored the sciences, so we're actually kind of not really as bad as you'd think when you get into it.
Sponsored's a loose term. Like, we pay all of our people in our seminary schools, and some of them came up with the science, and we didn't like them, but we accepted them.
But I mean, they don't accept. I mean, even the Pope's like young Earth. What?
Oh yeah, I'm talking about historical.
Yeah, but it's kind of they even accept full on evolution. So it's kind of, my wife was kind of like, you need to break out of that shell or we're not going to get married. And so I went on my journey of deconverting from Lutheranism, which just ended up me deconverting, period.
Yeah. I find it is an extremely rare sight to have someone come from a very conservative background and like start just saying, oh, well, that's wrong. Well, that's wrong. Well, that's wrong. Well, I'll hold on to this. No, they just like go, I'm gone.
Yeah, it took me probably 6 years. And then there was a time when right after my first son was born that I was sitting down in my office watching, I think I was watching Drew, Genetically Modified
Skeptic.
And I just kind of sat back and I went, I just can't do this anymore. Like I can't pretend to hang on at all. And so that's kind of when it hit. And then I had the conversation with my wife about it. My wife looked at me and said, okay.
See, I think I can
still got to clean out the dishwasher. So.
One of the things I'd love to be like, there's enough voices talking about the stuff that doesn't make sense about Christianity, and I do want to talk about that. But I also would love to talk to Christians about, like, do you understand that your shunning activities are the very antithesis of what your religion's about? Like, right? Like, it's just. I'm sorry. Do you care about saving people, or like you need to be like? In my opinion, like. If someone's religious and like say their spouse, this is something I see a lot in the support groups that I'm in, or I'm like a supporter in the support groups. There's a lot of people who come in like deconverted when their spouse isn't, and like, how the hell do I handle this? They only want a divorce, but they don't want a divorce because they can't in their religion. They just hate me. Like, it's like, oh God. But I'm like, I just wish I could talk to those people. Like, well, should you care about your spouse being saved? Like, obviously, and guess what? The best way to save them is not to just lecture them. So you should focus on love. And normally when I say things like that, most Christians are like, actually, that makes sense. Yeah, I will just focus on love. And then it's like,
lead with love. Lead with love.
Oh, I don't know if you've had a different experience, Sweet. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but my wife was more of like the well, our kids are going to understand what both of us believe then. And I go, that's fine. They'll get both sides, and they'll be able to make up their own minds, and we'll go with that. And she was cool with it. And after a while, I understood how lucky I was.
Oh man, you were
from
rare.
the other stories and the other part is I sent her Seth Andrews a letter to a Christian spouse because he is married to a believer, and they coexist very well, even though they have this different belief system. And my wife and I have a different belief system, but at the same time, we match on literally everything else: how to raise our kids, all these other things. So it's like the whole church aspect is almost such a minor part that we almost never talk about it unless she's like, "Hey, I want to go to mass. Can you make sure that take care of the kids tomorrow morning?" Okay.
My girlfriend of 2 years broke up with me when I became an atheist.
Oh no,
that's rough.
Yikes.
It was all right. We weren't really getting along that well.
Hopefully you had something.
It's like it wasn't going great.
Hopefully you had something for 2 years, unlike my 2-year relationship where I kissed her like twice and then ran away.
We had a ton of sex. We fucked all the time.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I was not that kind of Christian.
She wasn't. She's a Jack Christian. She didn't know what the hell she was talking about. She's a woohead. She believed every Facebook meme from Spirit Science that came across her feed every time.
Spirit Science, dude. Oh God.
My
ex-wife was
becoming a Christian while I was becoming an atheist. It was weird. We met each other on the way.
Ships
kind of in the middle of the divorce.
I didn't know you were married. Did I know that?
Airlock.
She doesn't come up very often unless I talk about how she tried to stab me.
That's why I remember her. There it is. Yep. I do remember that.
What? Okay.
He's anti getting stabbed.
I just noticed
that very anti getting stabbed.
I just noticed
I don't like it.
Oh, sorry. I just noticed the Airlock also agreed with you, Sweet, about Drew, Modified Skeptic. I think that guy's made a huge impact, actually.
Well, he and one other person that I don't really remember had an episode that they did, or a video that went into I get why the appeal to believe in a caring father, figure deity. And it wasn't this whole fire, brimstone, firebrand, whatever you want to call it. You're an idiot for believing. It was more of I totally understand where you're coming from, and which made it a lot easier to relate to what he was trying to tell me.
It's so funny because it's his story. Like in his videos, he talks about how he went to college to become a psychiatrist in order to convert people, and then within a year of him leaving the religion, he has a channel with 200,000 subscribers where he's using psychology to calmly and very accurately explain phenomena from religion, and helping people deconvert. It's incredible.
And he has a great Kermit voice, so he can make fun of Jordan B. Peterson.
He has a good.
That is an incredibly valuable skill.
Oh my
Probably the most important.
But it's an amazing thing, the transformation you can make when you leave religion, though, because I was a right-wing fundamentalist Christian, dyed-in-the-wool Republican, almost, way out there Rush Limbaugh type person, to now I'm subscribed to Jacobin magazine and as socialist as you'll come by.
I hate to say it, but in my opinion, it's it has to do with the seriousness with which you take your religion. If people, in my opinion, read the Bible, take from it what it says, seriously, they'll be pretty darn right wing, very close to Rush Limbaugh, pretty easily. And it's just where it leads. Thinking for yourself and is without saying this isn't though I haven't done this yet either. Oh my God, I have so many videos I need to make for my channel. But I like to describe it.
Writing them down. Write it down. You're gonna forget.
I like to describe it as a simple math equation because I'm a math geek. But how whenever you draw an equation, let's say a sine wave, you have an X and Y axis, and you draw it infinitely into the past and then infinitely into the future, but you start now. Like that's how equations work. You start current, and then you go past and future. So I like to think that most of our data we have on the world is like just recent past, like just barely behind the y-axis. And then when you draw that line, you're trying to draw it out. See, where does it take us? Like, where does this morals? How is what I know so far calculated into my morality or things like that? But religion says, hey, guess what? At the end of that x-axis, way out there near infinity, we know how it ends. So whatever equation you come up with, it's got to end there. And so you just adjust all the data you've seen. You're like, I'll just squeeze this in. The equation does this, and then it ends here, and it just changes everything you think about how you do the future. Like
one of the things that I noticed big time after walking away was the emphasis on empathy. Whereas, in the community that I met Neil very early when I first started coming out and started talking to him. And actually, before Apologia got too big, I had a lot of Facebook Messenger conversations with him. I was very lucky to find them because they were able to go through the whole process of walking away. But it was the whole empathy side that amazed me. As Christians, you'd think empathy would be such a more of a emphasis than it is, but it's almost non-existent.
Yeah,
it's like they traded in empathy for the ability to judge other people, and they're like, "This is a pretty sweet deal. I like this more. Like, this is way easier."
When eternity,
let's not do one of the things he said, so we can do one of the things he said not to do.
And when eternity is on the line, you don't care how someone else got to the position they're at. You just need to save them. That's it. Like, you'll never have true empathy when all you do is care about their end position.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a couple other people that did videos that got more into the whole free will side of things, and that actually ended up providing more empathy for me to other people, because you realize just how little choice somebody has in where they end up or where they are in life.
I think that's fundamentally a difference in some of the political parties nowadays. The more conservative parties have a strong belief that your choices influence everything in your life. Like, you're responsible for your poverty, for your downtroddenness, for your whatever situation you are in society. Whereas, like, more and more, the liberal side of things is starting to go, well, maybe you're not responsible for that part, and maybe you're not responsible for that part, maybe you're not responsible for that part.
Well, and then when you go even to the left of liberal, like me, you get to where you're like, I don't care if they're responsible for it or not. We got to help them.
Yeah. Well, that's like, my parents are like, well, I don't want to pay for somebody, who's going to be lazy and not earn their keep, and get free healthcare. I go, no, they should get healthcare. I really don't care if they work or not.
I just want to tell those people what she just said to you. If I could just hear that sentence spoken to me, I'd be like, oh, are you taking that money to heaven?
Yeah.
What else are you doing with that money besides helping other people?
Yeah,
that's kind of what it's for.
But I was born very privileged into a quite wealthy family, and my parents live very well. And I literally want to sit down with them and go, so when are you going to sell everything? When are you going to sell everything, donate it to charity, and take up the cross?
Unless you listen to Jesus, where he says, sell everything and buy a sword.
Yeah.
When it's like, I don't want to help somebody who won't work have health care, so I'm going to vote to pay 5 times as much as that would cost.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. It's practical, in my opinion,
it's
also
cheaper.
Practical.
It's better stewardship if you actually give it to everyone. It's cheaper. That's a better.
As an economist, literally, that's my job. I almost got my dad convinced of this just based on numbers, because he was a general manager of a large corporation. And I go, we can either pay 30 trillion or 50 trillion over 10 years. Which one? And the 30 trillion covers everyone, and the 50 trillion leaves 35 million people uninsured.
Yeah. See, I work in the biomed engineering space, so I'm aware of the deal that comes with I don't sell products to people. I sell products not even to doctors, to insurance companies, essentially. And like, so I'm aware of that specific area of the economy, and absolutely, when it comes to that kind of healthcare stuff, I don't think people understand we have a universal system already. Like, if someone's uninsured and they walk into an emergency room, we don't go, sorry, you just don't have health insurance. We're not going to take care of you. No, we treat them with the most expensive version of healthcare we have, and then charge the rest of the hospital. Like, that's how it works.
And not only that, but it's the most expensive because a year ago they could have gotten a checkup that would have prevented the emergency room visit to begin with.
Exactly. It's just,
so if you have less repeat customers, then maybe you'll save some money.
Well, it's not only that, it's the fact, and the other thing is I don't think people realize just how much like dental health plays into their overall health.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
It's the biggest shift that's going to happen, I think, in health like awareness in the next like 50 years. It'll all be like, smoking was. It'll be like, man, flossing. I don't understand why these people were so idiots.
Well, I mean, when you constantly breathe through a filter filled with bacteria into your lungs, yeah, I'm sure your body has a lot of ways to deal with that, but eventually something's going to mess up and you're going to get infections, you're going to get breathing problems, you're going to get infections of your throat.
Especially with what we eat now.
So I have to mention this just because I feel an obligation every time it comes up in conversation, but I do with heart devices to keep the heart going.
Oh,
you guys are brothers. I knew it.
I have a mechanical valve in my heart.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So I'm aware of heart issues, and one of the heart issues is clots, like what Neil had. And clot research has found that when you take the clot out and break it open, what comes out is bacteria, but a very specific kind of bacteria. In fact, it's the bacteria most often that you find in your mouth. And in fact, most clot-causing bacteria come in through holes in the gums. I don't follow my own advice. I don't floss enough, but I think this is going to be one of the bigger things that's going to change healthcare. Like,
so Neil was licking someone's leg. He was licking someone's leg and got a clot through his gums, and now it's in his leg. I now
our mouths are incredibly dirty. Humans have the most
clots.
Dangerous bites you can ever experience. Like, the amount of people that, like, if a human were to bite you and break skin and get into your blood supply, like, it's more dangerous than like almost any animal besides poisonous ones.
I don't appreciate you kink shaming me.
So I have you probably know what this is, but I have a St. Jude valve.
Yeah, I mean, I know St. Jude. I'm not going to say who I work for, but I'm aware of products. Yeah.
So yeah, I click every time my heart beats.
So cool, man. I love that stuff. I mean, I'm obviously I love that stuff.
It's cool until he tries to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot better. I think nowadays I can pretty much ignore most of it unless it just happens to be loud one night. But yeah, for the most part, I'm okay.
Wow. So you said it's a mechanical valve, right? So like,
yep.
You know which chamber it's between?
It's the upper aortic left ventricle exit. Yeah. So the reason I have it is I survived a type A ascending aortic dissection.
Holy shit! You guys don't understand how bad of a deal that is. Like,
no, we do because he told us.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Holy shit! Were you like in the hospital when it happened? How did that?
No, I was not. And it took him about 18 hours to figure out what was going wrong.
Wow, it must have been a smaller one then.
It was into my down to my knee. It had gone up into my carotid, it had gone down to my knee, and it had gotten about halfway down my left arm.
Jesus.
And it burst it fully burst, I think about 5 minutes before I went into OR.
Oh, I got to mention.
So it was through the second layer for about 2 hours. The first layer, my body, the reason you throw up a lot is your body is trying to force the blood back out through the layers as it convulses itself up through the esophagus. And so once I had no longer had anything in my stomach, body couldn't do it.
So I just have to respond to this quick. Airlock said, so bacteria found in the mouth, that's what causes clots. Also like eating fatty foods and all that kind of stuff cause a lot of clots. But there is a significant percentage of clots caused by mouth bacteria and poor hygiene in the dental area.
But fatty foods are my favorite foods.
I shouldn't say fatty. I shouldn't say fatty. I should say like saturated fats and like.
But those are the best tasting fats.
I about to say I have on good authority that the fatty, unhealthy foods do taste the best.
It's kind of true.
I mean, apples and like strawberries are good, but so is bacon.
Not crazy about bacon.
What?
No. I'd rather have gravlax.
Here you go, making up words again. What is today? Fucking random word day? You guys keep making up stuff. There's no such thing as a gravlock. That's in Star Wars, and that's when
there's no such thing as a gravlock, but there's such thing as gravlax.
Oh, it's a gnomish breakfast meat.
It ends in an X, not a CKS like you were trying to imply.
It's a gnomish breakfast meat.
Wait, gnomes?
Why would it be gnomish?
Oh?
I knew it.
What you drawing, Jonathan?
I am drawing Lady Falwell, I think is what we call her in the campaign. I'm drawing character tokens for various characters for our D&D campaign that we do.
D&D campaign? Where can people find that, Jonathan?
You can find that at twitch.tv/Nat1Heroes.
Very nice.
Cheesy. Just so cheesy.
Hey, Ollie, you mentioned... I finally found the name of the disc golf course you mentioned. So there's one famous disc golf course in Minnesota. It's called the Blue Ribbon Pines Disc Golf. Have you heard of it?
No.
All right, never mind then.
Say I have.
Very nice place.
I have some extreme Mikey Famine trivia if you guys are interested.
I'm very interested.
Yeah, I'll even let you guys work as a group because there's no way you guys are going to get any one of these right.
I'm going to get it right. You're just going to lie when I do.
Man, I'm loving the Roomba stuff.
Damn it.
I got to make this a part of my channel now. It's my thing.
Tons of mice will do that to you.
Your pursuit games here, Mikey. Do you want me to go get some cards?
He'll trope you in a heartbeat. That tons of mice is dangerous. Oh no, it's I got this card set called wait, why would I tell you the name of it? Then you'll know how to. You could just look it up. I'm not telling you nothing. Now you guys are gonna cheat. And how would you know which card it is? There's like 100 cards in here. But it's things they don't teach you in school.
All right.
So first question: what country has the highest percentage of redheads?
Denmark. It'd be Denmark.
Really?
I need you guys to come to a group answer, please.
It's got to be Denmark.
Why? Could you convince me, Swede? Because all I'm thinking is Ireland.
So the only reason Ireland has redheaded people is because the Danish invaded and settled there. And
you make a good case.
Sure.
Dublin is a Danish, colony. And so that's why there's redheads around in Ireland. So my joke is that red hair is as Irish as the Olive Garden is Italian.
He seems to know his stuff. I'm willing to trust him.
Yep.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Are you guys back in the Swede? You back in the Swede?
Sure.
Still,
You know we're back in the Swede.
you know we back in the Swede. Swede's wrong. It's Scotland.
What? Well, that would be because they got invaded by the Danes.
See, what happened? Your mistake, Swede, was that all the redheads invaded the islands, and they took over.
There's actually a rumor that Genghis Khan was a redhead.
That guy.
That would explain a lot. That would explain why an eighth of the people alive today have red hair.
Well, I guess I'd be surprised because I'm not aware of the Asian continent being known for redheads, but it's certainly possible.
Stags, why you got that look on your face, dude? What are you looking at?
Our asses whooped in Halo right now.
Oh, you guys are playing Halo. Okay.
We're getting beat up on. All right. Question number dose. You guys are 0 for 1. What country consumes nearly 10% of all the fish caught in the world? One country, 10% of all the fish.
Wow.
Name that country.
I'm actually thinking like Norway, but Japan is like also in my mind.
Yeah, Japan was the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah,
I thought
I was
Japan
thinking
too.
of Japan as well.
But
It
it's
seems like we got a Japan
obvious
consensus.
answer, is it?
It does seem obvious.
Ooh.
Scotland was the answer to the last one.
Right. They're a little obscure, right?
And that means Scotland's going to be the answer this time. Perfect.
You're right. Scotland, the final answer. Boom, hit the buzzer.
Yeah, it also could be China. They just have a
Probably
fuck ton
India.
of people.
You're right. China could eat a lot of fish.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
A
people.
lot of
That
fish.
is a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's
China.
10%.
I go with China or India. China or India, just because of population.
I'm just gonna say it's not India because I know that a small percentage of them eat like fish and meat and things like that. And they're the
that's
Punjabis
Oh,
down
yeah,
in the
they're
south.
also very vegetarian. That is a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
So
super veggies over there.
So China, let's go unexpected. China.
let's go China. Everybody agree?
China
China.
and Japan?
I guess.
I legitimately don't care.
Oh wait, no, I'm gonna say Iceland.
Okay, sure.
Okay, fine.
That's the answer.
Iceland? It was Japan.
Motherfucker.
Go with your instincts.
You can blame me.
I was like, okay, let me see if I can cast a little bit of doubt. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, I got him.
Sealand. Huh. US
Got
could be a big choice too. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if we don't.
I eat a lot of
there's a
fish.
lot of us in the Midwest. We don't eat a lot of fish out here.
No.
Like you'll
Yeah.
get salmon every once in a while. We don't
You got to
have a
be
lot
mostly coastal. Yeah.
By the way, Mikey, Grovlox is salmon.
Grovlox.
That sounds like a fucking Decepticon. Are you sure that that's what it's called?
Yep.
Grovlox terrorize.
Grovlox.
It's a
Decepticon.
specific type of cured salmon. I make it myself sometimes.
Is that the like? Wait a minute. That sounds like what's that Jewish food on the bagel? What the?
Lox.
It's just called lox. Yeah. Yeah. Groblox. Is that related?
Lox is
Oh, is that the
salmon.
same thing?
Lox is
What's-
salmon. Grovlox
Okay.
is earth salmon.
Right.
Literal translation.
Did you say Earth? Like
Yeah, traditionally you would bury it in sugar and salt and then put a whole bunch of dirt on top of it so that it would have weight on top of it. And then they would compress it and it would cure in the salt and sugar mixture with all the herbs and goodness and stuff. And then you would dig it back up.
Can I be honest? I didn't know if you were saying Earth as in dirt or Earth as in this planet, and your explanation literally gave no information to which one it was. He's like, oh, he's putting the Earth on it, or he's putting dirt. It was.
How would I put the earth on top of it, Mikey?
I don't know. You're
Well,
the
you
one
put it
with
on.
your
You
space
put it
alien
on
egg.
Atlas's shoulder.
I was gonna say, you get a big enough lever.
and you lift.
And you
move
find
the Earth.
a long enough place to rest it.
Under the turtle.
Under the use the turtle as a fulcrum.
Use the.
Makes sense to me.
I wonder if the moon would be far away enough for a fulcrum. Now you got me thinking about things.
What?
I mean, technically, it didn't have to be really anywhere. You just have to use that much more proportional force. Like if it's far away, that's better. But I know that'd be harder. It'd be easier if it was like right up against the Earth.
Groblox also sounds close to Roblox.
Same thing.
I don't think that's the case, Mikey.
I don't know. I've seen a bunch of memes on Facebook.
The movie I think it was called Toy Soldiers, where like the
Oh my god!
toy
I love
soldiers came to life, and then there was all the alien weird creatures. Gravlox
Yeah.
sounds like it's one of those alien weird creatures.
Dude, that is such a choice pull, and probably Tommy Lee Jones' best work. Just gonna throw that out there. School's out, loser, and he kicked him. And it was fucking awesome. It's a good movie. I need to watch that. Thank you, Ollie. You needed that little piece.
You know,
They
I need
resist
it.
all.
I need a new icon for my YouTube channel, and I think I'm gonna put a Roomba there.
You should ride. You should ride on a wave of Roombas.
There you go.
Just Roomba surfing.
I'm honestly, I don't know. It's so
You
funny.
should have the throne described by what Ezekiel, and in place of the 4 angels, you have 4 Roombas.
And they each went their ways when they went.
And they were covered with eyes, and one had the visage of a Roomba, and the other had the visage of a Roomba.
That's just like
And
I
turning
can't.
not, they went each their way.
And under the Roomba, there was wheels within wheels.
I can't help
A
but
sensor
think,
for
like,
the carpet.
whenever I hear those descriptions of the angels, like Ezekiel or Revelations, or with all the eyes all over them, like I just can't help but think, like, what like an evolutionarily like thing to do. Like we rely on the other person's eyes to see into the quote unquote soul. Well, let's just cover the angel in eyes.
Let's creep everyone out.
Man, I'm actually doing a reread of the Bible just because I haven't read it since confirmation class in like middle school, and I'm creating a platform that discusses religion, so I should probably refresh myself. So like I've just been going through it as like to see what I think of it since I left Christianity. I left Christianity 10 years ago. I'm curious what I think. And man, there's some wild stuff in there that, like, when you're just religious, you're just like, yeah, and you just skip over it. And you're just like, next thing, just reading it. You get the basic plot points. But man, when you like I've been trying to write a chapter summary every time I read a chapter in the Bible to like make sure I thought about it, and like it's just wild.
I remember coming from heaven.
I think probably the funniest thing for me is that I've found funny passages that I never would have considered funny as religious, but they just seem hilarious to me. My favorite so far has been the battle of the Amalekites with Moses, where he sits on a hill and holds his staff above his head, and he notices that if his staff drops below his head, Israel loses, and if his staff stays above his head, Israel wins. And he's too tired to hold his staff above his head, so he has two people hold up each of his arms. Like, that is funny. That is objectively funny.
He's like a Tuscan raider over on the cliffs. And then he's like a bard, and he rallied the troops. And if he kept doing it, he's like, yeah, for the weird kid over there screaming.
Like it's so funny how explicit the Bible is. Like, it has nothing to do with their troop size, their strategy. It doesn't even have anything to do with their belief in God. It has like a very specific physical staff needs to be above his, like, I don't know, eyebrow line. Who knows where the cutoff point is? Like,
and that's
it's a good thing he didn't have a huge fro.
Oh my god! Like, what's his name? Not Jared Allen. Is it Jared Allen? The center for Cleveland now. He still has like the fucking 1980s fro.
Oh,
it's not the 70s fro. It's like a little shaped up.
Oh, I see.
Clearly, he picks it out, and I'm just like, yo, look at my man's over here. My shit like doesn't stay in a fro anymore. It's too long.
You're talking about like a.
Good thing it didn't turn into a snake while he was holding it.
Or start talking to him.
Man, call me a white guy, but whenever I think of like a shaped fro, I think of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, early 90s, and like the guest characters coming.
Oh yeah, Kid and Play.
Yeah.
I love Kid and Play. I don't remember it very well. Oh, did anyone check out that new Fresh Prince though? A couple of
there's a new Fresh Prince show.
There is,
there's a new Fresh Prince.
I heard it's no longer a comedy, but it's a serious drama. But I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it is. It's
yeah.
I mean, the original had its serious moments.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! It had great serious moments.
Say it. I
how
know
come he don't want me,
Shut
man?
Up! Shut up, man! Fuck you!
Oh
Fuck
god!
You.
When Carlton started carrying heat, just
Carlton.
Oh my god!
The being arrested and Uncle Phil coming in and be like, no, I'm a lawyer, and the cops go suddenly getting scared.
Oh god! Actually, there's another one coming back recently from the 90s for a like black family sitcom, but it's a cartoon. The Proud Family's coming back. I just heard.
Oh man!
I think it's back already, isn't it?
I didn't know. I only heard about it last week.
That was D.L. Hughley's show, right?
I can't remember much about it. I just remember watching it as a kid.
Did I invent that memory? I don't know.
Careful, you're falling into solipsism.
Because I literally remembered somebody that I went to high school with. Like, she's like one of my regular customers. But I was like, oh yeah, we went to middle school together. And she's like, no, we didn't. I was like, you went to this school? She's like, I went to that school. I was like, no, we went together. And she's like, no, I met you when the school district combined, and then all of us went to the same high
Yeah.
school. We only went to high school together. I was like, no shit. Well, I made that up in my head somewhere.
I actually that really reminds me when I was I wrote down my deconversion story just for like a self-therapy exercise to like make sure I still agree with it all. Like when I was, and I highly recommend it, by the way. If you can like put your like story down to written word, you'll become much more confident in where you're at. And like so anyway, when I was writing it down in 2020, I think I did. I wrote down the church that my family moved to as a Baptist church. I looked at that church recently, like 2 weeks ago. I was wrong. It wasn't a Baptist church. It was a Lutheran church that does a lot of adult baptisms. But the point still stood. Like the point of contention for me was I went to a new church and they told me my infant baptism didn't count. There was someone at the church who believed in like infant baptism doesn't work. But still, like
This shit doesn't count.
the amount of stuff
That's
that you make up in your head,
crazy.
man.
That's
Well,
so bogus. How
that's the
someone can be like,
thing.
no, your baptism doesn't count. Like what? I
That's
got one.
I was
That's
also
the thing about human memory is you're not remembering the event, you're remembering the last time you remembered it.
Right.
Huh, that's interesting.
Which is why your memory degrades over time.
Yeah. The baptism thing, man, that's just like it still baffles me. I was trying when I was writing up my deconversion story, I published it on a blog. It actually went viral on Reddit, and that's why I decided to jump into the online space. Like I posted my deconversion story where I wrote the whole thing down, and it got like 3,000 views or upvotes or whatever on Reddit, on the ex-Christian subreddit. And I was like, man, maybe I should like be participating in this discussion. But like whenever the baptism thing, I looked up what is the official stance of Lutheranism on baptism, because I was like trying to understand it. Like I remember it being, well, you're baptized because otherwise if you die, you go to hell. Like if you're a 4-month-old that dies before they get baptized, you go to hell. That's just how it works. That's how I was taught it. But then I found out Lutheranism doesn't officially endorse that view. The official endorsement of Martin Luther was, if you reject baptism, you're going to hell. If you never had a choice to be baptized, you have no issue with it. There's no problem. I'm like, well, then why introduce baptism to people? Just gives another point of failure.
Right. Just don't tell anybody else. Here,
Just
did
don't
you
tell
only
them
send
about
this to me? Here, I'm going to print this out and throw it away.
Well,
What are you
that
talking
would be the ELCA side. The LCMS side is much different.
Yeah.
What do they say?
Well, mine was that it was essential. Otherwise you go to hell. What was yours?
That was it was that way too. It was that Martin Luther also said so.
No, that is what my church said. Yeah, but when I looked up Martin Luther's words, he said that it only matters if you reject it.
What are you doing looking up his words? We told you what his words are. Just read what we sent you. What's wrong with you? No one told you to go back to those original texts. Stop it.
Well, there's a lot of like hey, when I started doubting myself, I didn't stop. So I still doubt now why I left. And I review it occasionally. But I'm really glad I spent like a month going through it and writing it all down, because now I can just read my story and be like, do I still agree with it? Yeah, I agree with it.
And also, number 3, what is the best-selling car of all time?
F-150.
Ford F-150.
He said car, not truck.
Oh, he did say car.
Volkswagen Beetle.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Yeah, because
What's the
Volkswagen
definition of a
Beetle is
car?
still continued in other countries.
You said it's not a car.
No, what's the
Doesn't count.
definition of a car?
Oh, I thought you said that doesn't count as a car. I was like, dude, fucking mega Beetle shade.
And
I'm
asking me
here
to
for it.
find a car.
I think the Civic could be up there.
See, the hard part about asking what's the most popular is it always is recency biased, because there's more people now than there ever was.
The
I'm
Civic
still going Volkswagen.
It's still
Volkswagen Beetle.
Volkswagen Beetle.
70s.
Yeah, I agree.
70s.
I'm going to actually change mine to the Toyota Corolla.
That'd be up there too.
I don't think we're going to reach a consensus on this one, Mikey.
Corolla, it is.
No.
It is the fastest selling car ever is the Mustang. They sold, I think, 20-something thousand the first day.
A Ford Roomba. Wow.
The Ford Roomba. The Chevy iRobot.
You guys have no
How
idea,
many-
but you're creating my channel right now with this meme.
That's our.
Can I call it a meme? Are we gonna argue about that?
Is it propagating itself in your head and making you think of variations upon it?
I think it's
Are
only
we
propagating
further-
itself in Baxter armies of Roomba's head.
I don't know. Are we super pedantic? The answer points to
yes.
yes. So this is
I
going to
am.
be your
Yeah,
thing,
the
Ralph.
Roomba thing is a meme. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many cups of snot can your nose produce in one day?
Mine?
What?
Which day?
Which day?
No
See,
further
after I take a big hit,
information
you know, I produce a lot more.
provided.
Are we like?
Yeah.
I will
doing
give you a
cocaine?
hint. I will give you a hint. The answer is in cups.
That is a good hint,
Cosmic-
actually.
Cosmic
I have 3
Kyle
cups.
says 6. No, 3. Okay, no, I'm going with 6. Dunsmite says infinite snot.
How many cups are in a quart?
Four.
Yeah, because 16 in a gallon.
No. 2. 2 cups to a quart.
No.
4 quarts to a gallon.
Think of a quart of milk. That's more than 2 cups.
Because if I remember right, you produce 1.5 quarts of snot per day.
Oof.
On average.
You do the math then. I think I'm going to do I'll do 2
6
cups because no one else has guessed it.
3.
6 cups to a gallon?
I'll do 3.
No,
I think 3
it's 16 cups to a gallon.
16 cups to a gallon. 4.
Is 2 cups to a quart or 4 cups to a quart?
4.
Uh-oh. Santa Mike says,
Wait,
what if I have allergies?
Look it up. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm guessing. But there's a pint.
16
we're
cups is a
forgetting
gallon. I'm pretty sure
How many
that's
cups
right.
are in a quart? 4 cups. Okay.
4 cups
So
in a
I'm going to go
quart.
with 6 cups.
All right,
6 cups.
I'm still going with 2.
Jonathan, how many cups of snot are you making a day? Beretta? 3.
3.
The answer is 2. About 2 cups.
Hey.
2 cups.
Staggerson, by the way, you were for most of the stream when I was doing my interview, you were blocking most of the flag, and all I saw was the green and blue, and I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, Ukraine."
Ukraine's yellow and blue, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
The human body produces 1.5 liters of snot every 24 hours.
1.5 liters.
Well,
See, I
don't
can't
go
convert between liters and cups.
Come on, man.
So you screwed up between 1.5 liters or 1.5 quarts.
That's still more than 2 cups.
That's definitely more than 2 cups.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what my card says, so fuck you, internet. My card says different. According to this card and scientists, how will our planet, that's easy, most likely end?
The sun will grow in size and consume it
Yeah.
when the sun runs out of fuel.
Well, yeah, no, that's
Runs out
not.
of.
I was thinking there's another way where we fall out of the Goldilocks zone, but I don't think that happens earlier. It's got to be the sun.
But falling out of the Goldilocks zone wouldn't destroy the planet, though.
Oh, it'd make it lifeless. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, we could probably move out a bit further from the sun and not really notice a difference. I think.
Well,
I mean, our weather would definitely shift if we went out to somewhere as far out as Mars. But I mean, life would still be sustainable. It would be colder. We'd have less energy coming into our system, but we could still survive.
Oh no,
we just go underground.
It's just the ice would. It'd all be. Yeah, we'd have to go underground.
We have to bust up the ice. It's fucking messing up all of our albedo. We're not absorbing enough energy. We got to get rid of the snow.
Man.
The problem would be vitamin D. Really,
dude,
hey, you
that's
need some
like
vitamin D, sweet.
not vitamin D. What is it? Vitamin.
No guy.
One of like the biggest arguments against like intelligent design is that we have the gene to produce the thing that
vitamin C.
Yeah, and it's just not on. Oh.
Yep. At some point, it got turned off, and I'm sure Aaron Rock could tell us when it got turned off.
I have a question for you guys. Actually, do you know? I was trying to figure out what is the most popular deconversion in terms of view count on YouTube, and I thought it was Rhett and Link, like the Rhett guy from Rhett and Link, but actually, I think it's Johnny Harris. Johnny Harris has a deconversion story from Jehovah's Witnesses or something, and it's like 4 million views.
I don't even know who that is. But then again,
I've never heard of
Jonathan Harris.
Yeah, Johnny Harris. He's like a he's a video essayist. He used to work for Vox. He did the Borders series where he like would travel around the world talking about borders. I don't know. It was wildly popular.
And how a bunch of old white men created most of them.
Yeah, and like this bizarre. Well, he mostly talked about like there'd be weird places where like there's no border or like this creates a no man's zone or something. But anyway, he's a wonderful video journalist, and he decided to out of nowhere put a video of deconverting, and all of his videos get 3 million views, and this one got 4 million. I think it's the most popular deconversion story.
Well, we now have a benchmark. So everyone tell all of your friends about this episode right now.
And if you tell 3 friends and they each tell 3 friends.
We need to make a pyramid
Are we
scheme.
inventing Mormonism, but for deconversion stories?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing
and Mormonism is so just I've never like it's actually a wonderful like psychology experiment. Like we have well-known established jail records of this guy Joseph Smith like trying to fool people out of money by putting rocks into hats and pretending to scry at the treasure buried in the hill. And then he creates a religion about putting rocks in a hat and scrying the treasure buried in a hill, which contains the Book of Mormon. Like it's just not only that. I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware, but like the biggest thing is like he translated a Book of the Dead that he bought from a seller of Egyptian texts and translated it. The pyramid. He translated. It
wasn't the Book of the Dead. It was just like some receipts.
Yeah. Well, it was a funerary text. It was we found the book that he translated, and then the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church, they were like, that's not the book he translated. And then we found his notebook. And his notebook had every figure from the book we found, along next to it, a sentence of what it meant. And it was the exact like book that he wrote in the Book of Mormon, like figure for figure with the actual Egyptian text. And because he wrote it before the Rosetta Stone was found, he had no idea what the fuck Egyptian would write out. And it's just explicitly disproven. He just made up text. And their official church explanation is that he had the divine definition of the text. Not the actual definition of the text. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they just stick their head in the sand. They go, we don't care what it says.
Fuck you, goalpost.
Oh my god.
Get your ass up.
Yeah, there you go.
Shit,
so, Mike, you tell us how's according to your card, how's the world gonna end?
Oh, the sun will eventually swell up and swallow the planet.
Yeah.
It is not uncommon for people to talk in their sleep. Do deaf and mute people ever sign in their sleep?
No.
Really?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say of course. Like I kick in my sleep. Why not sign? I punch sometimes.
Kick, punch. It's all in the mind.
I know my wife kicks.
I guess yes, because it would be really hard to say no. How could you say that they never do? You know what I mean? They must, point. I guess.
That's a good
Somebody
point.
did once, sure.
Well, I mean, but we don't sign in our sleeps because we don't, we don't communicate that way.
So does somebody who speaks and knows sign language?
Oh, wait. Are you saying that people who don't know sign language sign in their sleep? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. We don't do that.
Oh, like people
we
that
don't
can,
sign, but
yeah.
But we also don't know ASL.
Like I know that people who sign dream in sign language, like where everyone speaks it. So
the answer is yes. They do sign in their sleep. Just like we talk in our sleep, they sign in their sleep. That's pretty interesting.
You guys ever sleepwalked? Anyone have a good sleepwalking story?
Not without alcohol.
My son used to sleepwalk. He hasn't in a long time, but it would scare the shit out of me. He'd be like standing in the kitchen looking like freaking possessed.
He's zombified.
I did it one time. Yeah. And my parents, my mom told me that she woke up because she heard noises and she came out and I was standing outside her room and looked up at her and my eyes were rolled back in my head. And I just looked up at her with the whites of my eyes and then I walked back to my room and that was it.
Oh no. I'm moving out. This is this kid's house. I don't live here no more. This fucking zombie downstairs. What are you talking about? I'm not going down there.
Oh wait.
You give him breakfast.
I gotta mention this, guys. Airlock mentioned sleep paralysis. I have one experience which I think people would normally credit with a vision or angels or gods or whatever, like actually speaking to you. Like I passed up a lot of stuff in my story where like one of the things was in Lutheranism, you are said to get the Holy Spirit when you are actually confirmed, when you declare your belief in the religion in front of the church. So at that point, I walked in front of the church and I gave my confession that I believed in Jesus Christ and yada yada. Except I had questions, but I said, you know what? Forget all my questions. Screw that. I'm going to put all my faith in God. I closed my eyes and I wished for the Holy Spirit to enter me, and I felt nothing, and I felt distraught from that. But anyway, there was another time after I had left religion where I had a sleep paralysis episode. I woke up in my bed. I was unable to move anything but my eyes, and I saw a figure of light in my closet, and I couldn't look at it really fully. My head wasn't quite turned towards it, but I saw that it was there, like out of the corner of my eye. And I couldn't tell if it was a monster or anything. I had no idea what was going on. I had no control over my body. And it just stood there, just observing me. And I slowly regained control of some of my muscles. I managed to roll over, fall out of bed, landed on my face. I couldn't even look at this thing now. I thought it was behind me. I don't know what it was going to do to me. I crawled out of my bedroom, like crying. And this is another episode where my mom heard something. She opened her door and she saw me, like, just my head and my arm outside of my bedroom, like just gasping for help, like because I was seeing monsters in my room, what I thought, but I could have very easily said that was an angel if I was still religious at the time.
Did it have 14,000 eyes?
It was like an orb. It was like a source light inside of a dark closet. I can't describe it, but it scared the hell out of me.
So when I got home after surgery, obviously when you're under and your time in the hospital, you really don't sleep. If you do, you don't sleep all that well. So, you know, the fifth night got to come home and I was so tired that I was hallucinating in the dark, and the walls would pulsate and turn different colors and stuff like this in the middle of the night. And so I'd be laying there, obviously very awake because I wasn't used to the ticking yet. And for like 3 or 4 days post me coming home from the hospital, just hallucinating all the time in the dark. It was the weirdest. Like I had to turn lights on to go to the bathroom, even though my muscle memory knew exactly where to walk. I still had to turn it on because everything visually was off. It was so weird.
I have a question, sweet. I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Do you have batteries?
No, it's a butterfly valve.
Yeah.
So when my heart twists to beat, the butterfly valve opens, and then when it relaxes, the butterfly valve closes.
It's hard to describe if you don't know what a valve is, but it's like, imagine just a circle with a flap on one side. If you push from one side of the circle, the flap opens. If you push on the other side, it closes and it doesn't open. So he has a one-way valve at his heart. When his heart tries to push blood from one part of the heart to the other heart, it opens, it lets it go there. It tries to go backwards, it doesn't.
Can we put 16 of these valves into some sort of large worm?
Yeah,
I'm curious.
For what purpose? What ends would we do this, Mike?
We normally do
My
it big.
business is my own.
both ends.
Yeah, the doctor walked in while I was being prepped for surgery and said, do you want to see me again in 10 years or not? And I said, in what context? He goes, in surgery. I go, no. And he goes, okay, well, your choice is a mechanical valve then. Because every 10 years they have to replace the pig valve.
Oh, I see. Pig valve versus mechanical. I was talking about, like, I test mechanical valves, or I don't personally, in pigs in the company I work for.
Okay.
So that's how we test them. Also in dogs, which are genetically engineered to have a chest cavity that looks like a human if you want to have nightmare fuel.
Oh, gross.
So you test. So what do you have you tested like the ball valve, the MedX valve, or the?
I don't want to give away about what company I work for, but like, I'm going to say, like, I'm aware of those valves. Yeah.
Oh, you're testing your company's valves. You're not like testing other companies' valves.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, sometimes we do test competitors' stuff, though, to be fair. But and actually, to be fair, also, I don't work in the mechanical valve area of my company, and these companies are large. I'm not fully aware of everything that we offer. I work in the area of leads that do pacemaking.
Okay.
So if you have like, or fibrillating, you know,
Yeah, because I had the 2 electrodes on my heart after surgery until they sent me home.
The electrodes through the skin are one of the wildest things. Like,
it's weird when they pull it out too, because your heart really just like flutters hardcore. Man.
My little sister took a dump on the floor. Funniest thing I ever saw. Earlock also said that he experienced sleep paralysis, but did not see an angel at the time, thankfully. Sleep paralysis is actually commonly... So if you have sleep paralysis, all it means is that you wake up, you have control of your eyes and nothing else. Everything else is... and you start hallucinating. And about... I think the numbers are like 20% of people who have sleep paralysis start seeing visions. Like it's basically your dreams blend over to reality. I was one of those people. And most people... It's like a proper monster, like something crawling out of the ceiling, or like crazy stuff, and you cannot move. I did not have that, but it was just.
Or you're being abducted by aliens, or
yeah. Sounds splendid.
I got sleep paralysis a lot when I was an active drug addict, and something I learned is that so I had sleep paralysis before I became an atheist, and then sort of after. I wasn't still using drugs when I became an atheist, but I still had sleep paralysis a few times. And once I didn't believe in demons and spirits and shit anymore, it was so much less scary because I just knew what it was. You know what I mean? I wasn't afraid I was being sucked into hell or something like that.
Oh, man. I'm so glad I didn't have one of the monsters. I'd be terrified of my mind.
I did the first few times I had it. There was monsters. And then after a while, it kind of changed. And it's really scary, though.
I just felt like I couldn't breathe and I couldn't move and I couldn't catch my breath. Yeah, that's also like at that point, it's out of your conscious control. Like in my experience, I could only control my eyes.
I would always try as hard as I could to make sound come out of my mouth. I'm trying to scream as loud as I can. Yeah. Eventually, and this was exhausting. Eventually, I would get like a to come out, and then my ears would hear the sound, and then my brain would start coming to life, and then eventually I was able to like move and make real noises and stuff.
The exact experience I had. I was like running from that thing in my room, and I was trying to scream, and all I could ever get out was like a just terrifying, full on nightmare feel.
I wake up sometimes thinking I hear the doorbell. Is it aliens? The answer, tons, is yes.
Always
obviously.
Aliens.
The answer is never aliens until it is.
There you go. I personally go ahead.
Oftentimes, a sound like that will accompany the onset of sleep paralysis.
I have heard that. I actually have heard there's a certain sound you might have in a dream that like leads on to sleep paralysis.
Or it could just signal the onset of it, I think is what it is.
Gosh. I mean, it's the same thing with any other brain disorder like seizures. People will hear a sound like 10 seconds before it happens. And they'll be like, okay, guys, I'm about to have a seizure. Hold me down.
I got a girl at work who is epileptic, and she's probably gone down 3 or 4 times while I was working. And I had to flip her to the side and restrain her and stuff like that so she didn't hurt herself. That must be it's not scary for her because she's like, I just literally black out. I don't remember anything. I don't remember any of it. Never have. It's never been a thing.
Yeah.
But for me on the other side, it is like, and for her parents, it's got to be truly terrifying to see your kid just fucking writhing and screaming. And like sometimes she would yell, sometimes she was quiet. But I couldn't imagine having that like be my baby or something like that, or or my wife just like drops and then like has her first, like that's got to be, because it's you feel so helpless, helpless. And she's very strong. Not the strongest man in the world, but she was throwing my little ass until I fucking dropped my center of gravity.
When you there's like science behind this. Like when you use your muscles, your body consciously limits your ability to use them. When you're unconscious, you have no limit on your using of your muscles, and you could do some crazy stuff.
Like I'm like got full body weight on her, and she just kind of like lifted one knee, and me laying on top of her with that. And I was like, God
Oh
damn.
my God.
The fuck? Fucking Hercules over here.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Yeah. She's crazy as hell. But nice girl.
Hey, Swede, you said so since you left Lutheranism, I'm really curious. Like, how long ago was it?
I was 37, so 6 years ago.
Okay. It's a reasonable amount of time. I was just curious if it was recent.
Recent, I mean, it's all relative.
So the other thing is, I like to remind people of this. I don't know why, but you are relatively rare if you change your faith position after like 30, just statistically speaking. Like, a lot of people don't change their positions after that age.
I've talked to a few people and they say my profession probably has a little bit to do with it because, like, I'm a professional skeptic in the economy world or the economist world, where I my job is to stop fraud before it happens.
Yeah.
And things like that. So the Socratic method and things like that are very innate to what I do all the time.
Gotcha.
And as I told Neil in my deconversion story, it was just breaking the wall between how my professional life and my personal life, how I dealt with things on one side versus the other. And once that curtain was broken, it was just a matter of time before religion fell.
Yeah, this is something that I'm a little bit, you mentioned the Socratic method, for example. I would say the most popular form of like Christian defense right now is Jordan Peterson. His right. So his approach to like say, well, it doesn't matter what it says. What matters is the people that believed it became the rulers of the world and the greatest economic and military power. And their successes indicate that it has some thing behind it where if you believe it, you might be successful. And that must mean something. And like,
might make right.
I just don't understand. Everything that the US is, sure, has a lot of Christianity behind it, but also has like the Greek tradition, the Roman tradition, which is equally as old. Like, I just don't get why pick the innovative force as Christianity rather than like the Socratic method or the Roman Republic.
He's bullshitting.
We're based off the Roman Republic.
Exactly. We have equally ancient traditions from lots of other cultures that are the foundation of the so-called Western society, and he just picks Christianity for feeling reasons. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
One of his skills is justifying whatever he wants with his words. He can just come up with a story to sell you whatever he wants to. You know what I mean? I don't think he believes that shit. I think he just made up that to make his case or whatever. He still doesn't
believe Christianity. Like he says openly, like, I don't go to church. It would drive me nuts. Like the people claim insane things. Like but it has some truth about it, and by truth he means something that makes people successful, which is not what most people mean by truth.
No, he means he benefits from it, so it's good.
Yeah, it's
good for him, so it's got to be good. Yeah, the whole rise of America is good for him, but
I just don't. I'm like, why not think about maybe the fact that we have no land borders with a major military power? Like maybe that has something to do with our success.
There you go.
Like there's so many other reasons.
That's intentionally deceptive to leave all that shit out of your fucking your commentary. But it's Jordan Peterson. What do we expect?
Intentionally deceptive.
Yeah.
Well, whatever you think about him, he's highly influential. Minority Report.
Swede, this is for you.
Swede, you missed it. Bring it back on.
Pre-crime.
It's basically that. My position is to find out where all the money goes, who's custodian of the money on all of its way through, how it gets spent, where the fees are taken, all of that. So
atheism and Dead says atheism feels threatened by an intellectual giant like Peterson believing in Christianity. Oh man.
Hey dude, Neil's not here today, so unless you got like your own video I can critique, I'm not interested, dude.
Wait, Jordan Peterson is a
wait, no, hold on. He's got the little YouTube sign by his name. Isn't that just like a renaming of somebody?
No. That's this guy's been around.
Oh, okay, never mind. I see him.
Oh, yeah.
Threatened by an giant Dick Peterson. I see. No, whatever. Like Peterson doesn't even believe in Christianity, so I'm not concerned.
Atheism feels nothing. That doesn't even make sense. It's not even a coherent statement.
I gotta head out. It's I gotta spend a little bit of time at least saying goodbye to my partner before she goes to the hospital for a night shift. So
on the night shift.
Alrighty.
Thank you. I just want to say it like though. I mean, I'm hoping to be a part of a regular room of like people coming in for the after party. I really hope I am in the future.
It's mandatory. It's mandatory. You got to come back and hang out.
Great group of people. Whether you just check
Tuesdays,
in for
Thursdays, and Saturdays
or whatever.
Fucked.
No, I can't do it all Tuesdays and Saturdays, but I will come in when I can.
Every day. No, I'm just kidding.
And you guys, you just got a great thing going here. As soon as Neil explained it to me, like I just interview people about the deconversion, and then I welcome them into the community with an after party. It's just, I don't know anyone else doing it.
Short and
I'll definitely gonna do what I can to push Neil, and for people to watch him and enjoy his content. So.
And for sure, and everybody, make sure you go back into the original interview. Unless one of the mods, Ali, Tons of Mice, if you guys can grab Baxter's channel link one more time, we'll do one last push. I think he started the night at like 18, and I think he's up to like 28-ish. Yeah. So let's try to get him up to like, I don't know, 40.
I gotta be one of the smallest channels he's had recently, so I really appreciate it.
Some people that haven't started their channels yet, so they have no videos, no nothing.
Hush you.
And I was more or less digging at Neil. In True No Talk. And if you ever need help with like editing or anything like that, you're in a very well connected community. Everyone around here is a content creator of some sort, or at least has some knowledge on things. So
thank you, Airlock.
I've been told my audio quality is better than a dumb redneck.
Yes, it's how we know you're not racist.
Yep. Bill Baxter, Lord of the Roombas. All right. On that note, I'm signing out.
All right, Baxter. Thanks for hanging out, homie.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll see you around. Bye.
See you later.
Yeah.
All right, he's gone. Let's talk about him. Boom.
What a cool guy.
On key. On brand and on key. All right. I want to go out into the garage and have a smoke. So that means I have to leave somebody in charge to be the Mikey.
I don't want to be the Mikey.
I don't want to be the Mikey.
Nope.
We'll just go Lord of the
Can
Flies.
I be the Raphael?
Gone, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, who's got the conch? Who's got the conch?
Stacks. I just went 23-4 in that game. What the fuck? I was in the Matrix. I was in the Matrix. All right. Well, here
a little bit excessive, man. Kind of showing off.
Okay, I'll leave you guys with two questions. Which letter combination generates the most hits on the online search engines? And I'm going to read the second one, and then I'm going to walk away. How many dreams does a person dream per night? So, what letter combination generates the most hits on online search engines? And how many dreams does a person dream per night?
Well, the second one's 6.
Oh wait, we got acoustic music.
And
Hold on.
First one's gonna be Google. I don't know.
Oh, that's a stupid question. No, I'm giving you a new one because it was www. That's stupid.
Oh, that is really dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad question. I paid for this card. Okay.
These kind of seem less like trivia and more like use your knowledge, like your actual knowledge of the world to figure out the answers to these. You know what I mean?
Why did phone numbers in old movies begin with 555? That's actually really interesting.
Because no one had that.
Because the story that I've heard several times was that somebody actually used an actual phone number, and it made people pissed, and so they had to pick an area code that didn't exist, and that was it.
Jonathan, Ali,
don't know.
555 is for the prefix. If they use
the first three numbers for the fake number.
Yeah, that's the prefix. It's always make sure that it's always a dead number. Nobody ever uses it. It's been reserved for that.
Yeah.
Well, those numbers don't exist because those phone numbers beginning with 555 were reserved for TV and film. They literally did it because of the movies. So there was never like a movie like hello, is Indiana Jones there? It wasn't a thing. It was just like they already had that laid out for fake movies.
Did you start a match?
All movies are fake.
What? No. Frodo would never lie to me. What are you talking about? And how many dreams do people have per night?
6.
6. Jonathan?
I want to go with 12.
12? Ooh, double or nothing. Ollie, man?
I think you enter REM cycle between 8 and 10 times a night, so I'm going to say 8 to 10.
You're not dreaming when you're in REM, so...
Yeah, you don't dream in REM.
Isn't that when you dream? I thought that's when you dream.
That's before you dream.
Well, okay, it leads into you dreaming, right?
Not necessarily. You can go into REM and then come back up to an earlier sleep cycle.
Oh, then I could be wrong.
Aren't you a dreamologist, Ali? Come on, man.
I am not. I don't remember my dreams ever.
I don't know. 6 sounds right. Or sounds reasonable.
All the weed.
3 to 5. On average. Oh, why does the
My second guess was going to be 4.
Why does the Mona Lisa not have eyebrows?
Fucking
what?
First
of all, I didn't even realize that.
Eyebrows.
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. But now thinking about it,
because of how the painting has aged over time.
I'm going to say because it was a beauty standard at the time.
Bing, bing. Sweet is correct. That was very fashionable for women to pluck their eyebrows during that time.
All right.
There's another painting that's supposed to be a copy of that painting that was done by one of Da Vinci's, and I would have sworn I saw eyebrows on that one when it was. Am I thinking right?
Well, that's why the Mona Lisa was the best. She was the most happening chick because she had no eyebrows.
Those are such different questions that that's a category error. Am I thinking right?
No, we don't know what the original Mona Lisa looks like. We don't because of how it's aged and stuff like that. I mean, but there is a copy that has been maintained.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying like the eyebrows didn't transfer over? That would have been fun.
But, I'm not sure on that. It could have been one of those things where somebody painted eyebrows on it when, quote unquote, restoring it. Because, yeah.
I was just going with
eyebrows are gone. I
was just going with Grandpa Simpson. It was the style at the time.
Yeah.
Dude, Abe Simpson is the fucking hero that this country needs right now.
Damn, I'm getting spanked.
Yes, literally.
You know what's fucking bullshit? Finding an article on the painting that I'm looking for and not having a visual of the painting.
My god.
That's bullshit.
Ooh, on average, how long are pants owned before they are gotten rid of? In chat, you guys are more than welcome, I guess.
For adults or for children?
Doesn't say.
How long did I have my Jinkos before my mom fucking took them?
Before those disintegrated pants just fell off of you in the wind?
I found them in my grandma's old denim pile for making quilts and shit. I was like, snatch.
Found it?
He's back.
Found the Prado, which is what the copy is called. And she does have eyebrows. They are just plucked very thin.
What was it called? Mona Lisa Part 2?
It was called Prado.
Prado?
Prado. Prado.
Someone Google translate that. What does it mean in Englishese? Let's see. For the pants, it's 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah,
no.
Sounds about right.
My pants last way longer than 2 years.
I was about to say I got a lot of old clothes, but I generally don't buy clothes a lot. I buy my buddies' shit and anime shit. So it's all
you got people like Kanye who probably wear a pair of pants once and throw it away, messing up the average.
Yeah, fucking it all up. He goes through several pants per day.
I think they're also including like toddlers and stuff that wear like, one pair of pants one day and then grow out of it the next.
Yeah.
Like some jerks.
That's why I asked kids or adults.
It is. They're 80% of the pants population. It's damn growing legs. What is the largest amount of money ever won in a lottery?
Well, I think the largest one that I've ever seen in my lifetime was over 780 million.
Was there the one that big? No.
Or was there $1 billion one?
I don't think so. That should have made the news if there was.
I don't remember if it got really close, either really close to $1 billion or just over $1 billion. And 700 and some million is what I remember, though.
Other panelists? What say you? What is the largest lottery?
The largest one I heard of, like I said, was about 190 billion or million.
I'm about to say, God damn, they won a country?
It was so large that the 1 in 300 million chance to win the lottery and a $700 million prize, it actually made mathematical sense to buy a ticket. Because of pot odds.
Yeah.
Any other guesses? Any other guesses? 1.6 billion with a B.
Where was that?
Is that Powerball?
Yeah, that was a Powerball from a little bit back.
Was that about what, 4 or 5 years ago?
Probably New York then.
Well, Powerball is what, 20 some states?
Is it?
Pretty much every state.
Every state that participates in a lottery, I think.
Yeah.
Well, there's Mega Millions, which is a different one.
Yeah, Mega Millions is smaller. Why do snakes sleep with their eyes open? Everybody knows that. What kind of question you asking? Because they don't have fucking eyelids. You need eyelids to close your eyes. All right. Let's see. Anything better here? Ooh, this is all right. Put your little thinking caps on. Do people walk slower or faster when talking on a cell phone?
Slower.
I would hope slower, but you never know.
What leads you guys to slower or faster? Let me check the chat.
Because you're not looking at what you're doing. You said talking, not. I was thinking texting.
I'm gonna say faster.
So faster Here, let me get in the middle here.
Yeah, faster.
I know when I talk on the phone when I'm headed to meetings in New York City, I walk faster. That's about the only time I walk and talk is when I go there.
Maybe it is. Anytime I talk on the phone, I get up and pace back and forth. So it probably is faster.
I'm a pacer for sure. For sure. I haven't flipped it over yet. It is faster. What is the largest animal to have ever lived?
Blue whale.
The blue whale.
Sure. I knew it was a whale of some type.
Wait, so ever
Blue
lived?
whale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still the blue whale?
Blue whale's bigger than any sauropod.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
That we know of.
As we know.
It's even bigger than Argentinosaurus.
I thought you were going to say Argentina. I was like, calm down, Swede. Always the hyperbole. It's literally bigger than the panhandle.
And if you ever go to if you ever have a chance to go to New York City to the Natural History Museum, they have a blue whale in one of their open rooms, and the thing is massive.
What's right? Up to 98 feet long, 219 tons.
That's a big fish.
That's a big motherfucker.
And yet you
98
couldn't.
feet.
And yet a human could not fit through its throat.
So what's 98 feet? Is that like 34 yards?
Yeah.
That motherfucker's just swimming around without a leash. What the fuck? Oh, I couldn't even imagine being 33 yards of fucking person.
Blubber and beef.
Be a titan. Love that show. Well, what's the most popular drink in the world?
Most popular drink in the world.
In the world.
Potable water.
Water.
Just gonna go ahead and get those out of the way. Nope.
Most popular drink in the world?
Not water.
Tea.
I heard coffee.
Coffee. Tea or coffee?
I think it's coffee.
I mean, the Muslim nations are very populous, and coffee is something that they do enjoy. So, plus everyone else in the world that drinks it. So, yeah, I'm going to go with coffee.
It was tea. You were right the first time.
Fucking British.
Oh, damn them. How many rolls of toilet
Well, I'm
paper
an
does one
American,
person
and I
use in
say
a
it's
year?
coffee. If they want it to be tea, they can come over here and fight me.
Does the person own a bidet or not? Because that's going to
influence your...
I don't know the way to answer that because all rolls of toilet paper are not the same size. So
I'm going to answer, does this person get sprayed in the face when they're installing the bidet? Or
I did not get sprayed in the face. It just wet my pants for me. See, that's an added feature that I just wasn't aware of. That if you just try to turn it off, the off nodule is in the middle as opposed to the left or the right. So if you try to turn it to the other side, it just sprays in fucking fire hose fashion. Well, that's what my friend told me on the internet.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. How do you get bidet water? 400? That's a lot of fucking TP, brother.
I'm going to go with 25.
I could be way high. 300.
I mean, 300 rolls of toilet paper a year?
A year, yeah.
That's one a day.
That's every day you need a fucking roll of toilet paper by yourself?
No, I guess not.
What kind of shit do you take?
I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, eat some vegetables. You're just going straight fucking marijuana and beer.
All right, sorry. Like 100, 120. How's that? 120.
Every 3 days you change the toilet paper.
We're gonna have a talk about your consumption.
We're gonna have to. You need to cut the prune consumption down. You take
they give you 3 rolls a week and you use it all.
Like really, I only go through about 60, 65, but it tells me that they're equal to 3 rolls of toilet paper, the rolls I use. So I'm trying to figure out the math.
Oh, that's
right.
Yeah, and you got single ply, double ply, Charmin Ultra Strong. There's a lot of variables here.
There's too many variables.
That was good.
150 is too many, Ox, according to what they're saying.
Single ply.
Single ply is what they put into the college dorms, and yeah, you would go through 1 roll per shit.
Yeah, in jail they'd give us 3 rolls a week, and we had to turn in the cores to get a new roll, and we'd go through all of it most of the time. More or less.
What's your answer for the year then?
100.
Approximately 50. They says.
So the closest without going over.
Which makes all the sense in the world for when, all the COVIDiots were running around there fucking buying up 500 fucking rolls of toilet paper in one day. I'm like, dude, that's not how this works. You're not going to not be able to buy toilet paper for a year. What are you doing?
I think it's funny when people are all elitist about their bidet. I'm like, I got a shower that I use after I take a shit. So fucking get on my level.
10 to 1 in the morning here, guys. I'm going to call it a night.
All right, there, Ollie.
Yeah, feel free to talk about me, Mikey.
I don't know what you're talking about. Let's talk about him now. He's gone.
How much does he shit?
That's a lot of shit. He's got cranky
and does
bowels.
does he shit wet concrete?
He must.
He's celiac.
Maybe he's got Crohn's or something.
Man.
That's a lot of pooping. What percentage of couples prefer to sleep together at night?
80.
I was about to say it's
80,
clearly not 100. If the fact that you're asking the question means that somebody's like, nah, you good. Nah, that couch is good for you. It's good for your back. You can stretch out. Or maybe it is 100, and they're just going to have a little smiley face on the end of it.
Yeah, Fred and Wilma don't sleep together.
Did Ricky and Lucy sleep together? Did they ever show their bedroom?
They couldn't back then.
Wasn't the Brady Bunch the first time that you saw a married couple in bed together?
I thought they had 2 beds at first, though, right? I didn't watch
their marriage. Slide their 2 beds together. Then they slide the 2 beds together.
Oh no! You know what I'm thinking of? Leave It to Beaver.
First TV couple to share a bed was the Brady Bunch.
Yep. So the Beav, his mom and dad's, was on separate twin mattresses. I think if I was gonna have a separate bed than my wife, I would want us to get bunk beds.
I think I would want like separate rooms with a fuck parlor in the center.
With just like the dungeon in the middle, the pleasure dungeon.
I mean, not like a dungeon, like a homey fuck parlor, Like all the accoutrement of a fuck dungeon, but with the hominess of a parlor.
Hold on. Nice. Tons said never take a shower at Stags' place because I said that I shower after I shit.
He doesn't.
Do you not take showers? What? I don't understand what you mean. Do you wash your butthole in the shower? Please tell me you wash your butthole in the shower.
If you're a public service announcement, if you're not, you should start, or at least consider it. Don't rule it out.
Maybe, yeah. As a white man, I want to remind everybody to wash their legs and their feet. Just make sure that.
You know what? I was wrong. Mary Kay and Johnny were the first ones to share a bed. They were an actual married couple, so it got through the TV censors.
What show was that from?
Wait, could you have filmed them fucking? Then
Stop it.
Would that have been okay?
Probably. How do we get into parents' rooms? This is
Ozzy and Harriet
from.
Also shared a bed. Mary Kay and Johnny. What show was this on? Mary Kay and Johnny. Mary Kay and Johnny show?
Ox is saying something in the chat there. Yeah, same thing.
One season in 1947. It's the Mary Kay and Johnny show.
Oh, they were also the first series to show a woman's pregnancy on television. Mary Kay became pregnant in 1948, and after unsuccessfully trying to hide her pregnancy, the producers wrote it into the show. Oh, Mary Kay and Johnny was the name.
And they were married, so that made it, that allowed it to get through the censors.
Now, talking about shit in the shower, there was this one time when I got really drunk and passed out. And when I woke up in the morning, it was evident that somebody had broken in very sneakily and shit in the tub and then left, but they locked the door from the inside on their way out.
Did you waffle stomp it?
It was a mystery.
No. No, when I woke up in the morning, there was shit in the tub.
Yeah, but did you waffle stomp it down to clean it up? Do you know about the waffle?
That was not necessary.
Do you not know about the waffle stomp?
No, I know about the waffle stomp. I'm just.
I can't help but notice.
I was trying to remember.
Not saying how he cleaned it up.
Well, it was in the shower already, so I think that you could just turn the water on and kind of let nature take its course, so to speak.
Let plumbing take its course. All right, here's the next one so we can stop talking about shit in the shower, please. Does a gallon of shit water and a gallon of ice shit water weigh the same?
No, because ice is less dense when it's frozen.
Yep, that.
All right. What is the total number of people that have ever lived on Earth? No fractions.
No idea.
How could they?
Well, I'm a solipsist, so one.
Shut up. I knew someone was going to play the hard solipsism on me.
I'm going to say 50 billion.
Jonathan?
I fucking have no idea.
30 billion.
25
we got a 50, billion. We got a 30, we got a 25. I haven't flipped it over yet. Let me where is it? 105 billion.
Wow.
Wow, way more than that. At least none of us thought it was less than 8 billion.
Right. I'm gonna go with 6.
Have you heard that?
No, I'm gonna go with 4 billion.
I heard that a lot. People go. There's more people living on the planet today than ever, all added. And it's like, no, that's dumb.
Not. That's
doesn't even add up.
That can't be true. I guess mathematically that could be possible, like in a far off future, right?
Could theoretically,
but it'd be way
really hard though.
We have to have a couple of. We have to have like a billion-year-old.
It would actually Earth. Probably have to be soon, wouldn't it? Because you'd have to have a giant explosion to have as many alive people, more than 100 and whatever billion people alive at once before that number gets higher.
But you would catch up, right? There'd be like a catch-up number. Like based on which well, based on like the
population kept growing. Yeah.
the percentage of increase, because then it wouldn't matter how many years it took. You're just going to eclipse it in a couple of generations anyway. When the singularity starts, we won't have to worry about this.
Yeah, when the sun expands and burns us all to death.
There was a good solid week. I was like worried about that. I was like, I ain't gonna see that shit. What the fuck am I doing?
No, you're not.
When I was young and went over to a friend's house to watch, cable, because my parents didn't have cable until I moved out. There was a show about the whole 2012 thing, and I'm talking like this was like the 90s.
Mayan.
And like it was like, like the toaster would come alive and come after you. And there was some really weird shit they were predicting back then. And this is
the automaton toasters.
The
waffle.
Like something out of like a Dollar General Goosebumps knockoff.
And then there was the walking toaster.
And the sad part is this was another one of those things that was like narrated by Leonard Nimoy.
Oh.
So you kind of took it seriously.
You tried to, at least. You tried.
Leonard Nimoy can do no wrong.
Like Keanu Reeves can do no wrong. It's a good thing he's on our side and he's not a super villain.
We find out tomorrow Leonard Nimoy has been fucking date raping people.
He's been Cardi B-ing a lot of them.
That's the only Big Bang Theory that I actually think is funny is the one where Kelly gets the napkin that was used by Leonard Nimoy and gives it to Sheldon. And Sheldon's like worried about getting her too big of a gift. And he's got like 9 different ones in his room. And then when he receives the napkin, he like gets this really weird look on his face. Like he can't think of what to give her. So he just gives her all 9 gifts.
That's funny.
Oh no! I needed turret kills. All right, let's see what's next here. The couples at night. Oh, it's 87% for the couples. So we were pretty close. Not too bad. All right. If you took all the bandages off an Egyptian mummy and laid them out in a line, how long would it be?
10 miles. I have no idea.
Damn. Them bad boys was insulated.
I don't know, 300 feet?
Ba-ba-ba-bum. Look who has returned.
So you guys are
I'm
still
gonna say
online.
100 yards. Yeah, 300 feet. Yeah.
How wide are these bandages? Because that would,
Mummy wide.
I get mummy width bandages.
Yeah, like the unit of one mummy. 1.7 mummies.
I just found out
the bandage is 6 foot wide, like 3 feet.
I have a trivia question. Why are there no mummies?
Because there's no daddies.
They've all been eaten.
Talking about brown. You're talking about like Victorian times.
What do you mean they've been eaten?
Eaten. What do you mean? What do I mean?
Who ate them?
Rich people. Who else?
Yeah, they used to pay a lot to eat a mummy back in like Victorian times.
Also, Mummy Brown was a very popular paint color.
It was, yeah. Actually, I just learned out last week that mummies, they currently have like 300 or so unopened sarcophaguses in Egypt, and you can pay $50,000 to open one and see what's inside. They have no idea. It could be nothing. It could be already
They let you
stolen.
break it open or what?
Yeah, they let you break it open with a party of your friends or whatever. But no matter what's inside, whether it's like empty or nothing, or like a fully preserved mummy with jewelry and everything, the government in Egypt gets to keep it.
Of course.
But you could pay $50,000 to open one.
Are they going to open them anyway? And they're
I
just
would do that.
If they're opening them anyway, you know what I'm saying? And they're just selling tickets to it. I kind of fucks with that.
Yeah, I mean
I don't think it's right to open up their shit.
to go in the pyramid. I looked it up the other day because I was like, how much does it even cost to go in the pyramids? It's like $40 on top of the $40 tour of the plaza.
Worth it. Field trip.
Yeah.
Everybody to the helicopter.
And now I'm Googling, is it safe to go to Egypt? It's like,
to the Petercopter.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a little bit more stabilized ever since the Arab Spring, but it's still pretty.
I would say in Egypt, if you're at least staying in where the tourist areas are, it'd probably be safe.
It's super duper safe, yeah.
I heard that
you're gonna get hassled by. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I heard that basically, yeah, if you're like on a tour with a person who's official and yada yada, you're probably fine. But like if you're not, yeah, I might get robbed.
and
they actually have a really low violent crime rate.
Yeah, not violence, just you'll be robbed. They'll have a gun pointed at you, and
that's violent crime.
Oh, is it?
Armed robbery. Yeah,
I believe that is counted in violent crime statistics.
Yeah.
And to be honest, most of the time when they see motherfucking tourists, especially like when we were in the islands for like the cruise and stuff like that, it's like people can tell you're not from here. We need people to keep coming here, so they leave the tourists alone. But for the local people, it's not great. Like they're not gonna fuck with you because we need your bucks. So
most pickpockets know that tourists keep the valuable things around their neck, in the pouches and stuff, and you're not really going to get much by fondling their nuts through their pockets.
Mikey, do we have that clip?
What?
You're most likely to get aggressively approached by people trying to sell you stuff.
Yeah. Like in Paris, you would get aggressively approached by people with plastic Eiffel Towers.
Dude, Paris was the most. I haven't traveled a lot. I've traveled a little bit in Eastern Africa, a little bit in Central America, a number of countries there, and then I traveled in Paris. Paris was the most dangerous country where I felt most in danger.
Yeah, when I was in Paris and then in Blois, when I was an exchange student, that was in the late 90s when the terrorism was still going on there, and all of the trash cans were still welded shut. So there was just trash everywhere.
Oh my god!
All over the streets.
Wait, why did they weld the trash cans?
Because people were dropping bombs into trash cans.
Oh.
So instead of getting rid of them, they welded them shut.
Yeah. Well, they were literally part of the concrete.
Oh yeah.
On the streets.
You couldn't get rid of them.
I see.
Yeah.
Number one, number two. Everywhere the police were all armed with like Uzis and full-on military tactical gear. It was
weird seeing like people like I think it was Mexico. Yeah, I think we were in Cozumel, and dude's just walking around with like an M16. I'm like, that is not a practical weapon for this application. It's like I'm not scared. I'm just like, why didn't you get something with a smaller barrel, bro? If you're gonna be running up and down these little streets and stuff and going into these shops.
In my experience, if you travel somewhere, pretty much anywhere, honestly, unless it's a first world country, my recommendation is just don't stay in the major capital city. You get out of there and you're probably fine. Like, for example,
unless you're in Somalia.
Yeah, I was about to say, do not leave the capital city.
There's exceptions.
Fuck you, I'm going to Dublin.
Yeah. It's kind of like
Dublin.
I don't think that, does that count as a non-first world country? Maybe.
No. You said don't stay in a capital is what you said.
He said in a non-first world country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you were like, ooh, shouts out to Dublin, my favorite third world country, big city.
As half Irish, I do have to say fuck you for that one.
No. That was just me not paying attention.
America's a third world country with a Gucci belt.
With some red bottoms on, bitch. Better recognize.
Yeah. We're not even a third world country. We're a whole bunch of little countries stacked up in a trench coat to look like a country.
Yeah. I like how the fact that we don't understand what first, second, and third world country means
that's
anymore.
It.
Yeah, I was just going along with what everybody else was saying. So I know what it means, but I'm sure we all know what it means, but nobody uses it that way.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like atheists.
It is an outdated concept.
Well,
So,
it's also like Ireland probably was a third world country because they hated both the United States and Russia.
Yep.
next up.
I mean, I think I am pretty limited. I'm just experiencing like so one of my favorite places to ever to travel to is Guatemala. Guatemala City is a place you do not want to be. Just like all the poverty and crime there is very high. Anywhere outside of Guatemala City, beautiful place, super friendly people, everything great.
It's like Costa Rica.
Yeah, and also when I went to Tanzania, and like Dar es Salaam, full of crime, stuff like that. Like, be careful where you stay here. Don't go walk down that street. Yada yada. Go off to a small village or city, no problems.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, and for the mummy question, it was 3,000 feet. Seems like a lot.
So yeah, that's like 60% of a mile.
What's the question?
Oh, if you took all the bandages off an Egyptian mummy and laid them out in a line, how long would it be? And it was 3,000 feet.
So there was I just recently started following archaeology Twitter. Apparently you can do that. And they recently found what is it, like a stone piece where people carved in work records, and they found a list of excuses for missing work. And like one of them was embalming my brother. The other one was like, I mean, it was wild. It was like, have the plague or something. It was wild.
One of my favorite things ever was one of the very earliest bits of written language that we have on a tablet is a customer complaint.
Oh, the copper guy. The copper guy. We have hundreds of those for him, by the way. Hundreds.
So my whole premise is, your Yelp review will probably last millions of years.
That's what's getting beamed out into space. This chili sucks, and Jennifer kept forgetting our silverware after she promised to bring us silverware. She just kept bringing us Cokes. One star.
So does tons of mice think that you shit in the bidet? Is that what's going on?
I don't know.
We're talking about mummies and how much wrapping they have, and I guess mummies is similar to toilet paper. What is it? Why is the dollar called a buck? I have no idea.
Because it used to be currency.
You used to be able to get $1 for a buckskin, yeah.
Sounds reasonable to me. I'm down to believe that.
Do you know why a woman's private area is called a beaver?
Oh, jeez.
It's all furry?
Because crabs were an epidemic at one time for prostitutes. So to solve that, they would obviously shave that area. But you wouldn't want to sleep with somebody that was shaved because they had obvious problems. So they would cover that area with a beaver pelt.
Frickin' markets.
What? It's like a fucking fake mustache. It's the Groucho Marx mustache nose glasses combination.
I feel like I need that quote. Like,
now,
I don't know enough to know that's wrong, but
I've seen beavers and I've touched their fur before, and I'm not certain I would be fooled.
Wouldn't fool me.
I think it's the sight more than it is the touch and the feel.
It's like that story in the Bible where the guy puts the furry thing on his arm.
Yeah, is that Isaac?
I was gonna say that doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough about beavers to dispute it. That's the quote. Jonathan, you look like you're making a. I don't know. I'm thinking of that. It looks kind of like that guy from Osmosis Jones, the sidekick.
Oh yeah,
the pill guy.
Pill guy.
Those are some choice references you're pulling up here. fucking Osmosis Jones. I was like, see, even Chris Rock can have a cartoon.
That's Bill Murray, right?
Mm-hmm.
Osmosis Jones is a great cartoon.
Why do they almost always store milk at the back of supermarkets?
Oh, to get you to walk past all the marketing.
Yeah.
Everyone wants milk.
Milk is everyone's gonna buy the milk, so you got to walk all the way to the back of the store to get it.
Jonathan, what you say?
Yeah, to get you to buy more shit.
Can I just say I really appreciate that everyone on here seems to say milk and not milk.
No, it's milk. With an I, not a
It's
fucking
milk.
E. Terrorists. Milk. Do you also say eggs with the AE sound?
I don't think so, but I do say PELLOW for pillow.
Oh,
Hello.
no. No.
Do you say marshmallow or marshmallow?
Mellow.
Because it's mallow.
Marshmallow.
I know. Yeah. I've got the other Minnesotan thing I do is ROOF for the top of the house.
Yeah, the roof.
Yeah, the roof.
No. How do you say wolf?
Wolf? Yeah, I say wolf normally.
How do you say both?
Both.
Say both. Both.
Is there an L in it?
Both.
Bluff.
Is there an L in the word both?
Both.
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 Oh.
Both.
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 Most
It's
of the time
interesting.
It's both.
How do you say
Both.
Okay, Stags. Okay, Stags. How do you say February?
February. I make a point to say February, dude.
It's kind of like
belabor that word out of my mouth.
It's kind of like every
last breath.
It's kind of like every since Jim Carrey, I say BEA beautiful.
BEA beautiful. And that's how I remembered how to spell party. Thanks, Ace Ventura.
Answer: when playing poker in the Old West, they used a buck, a male deer, handled knife to signify the dealer. When the silver dollar came in, they used that instead and called it a buck. They used a deer antler to notify who was the dealer in poker? What?
That sounds like bullcrap to me.
Yeah, that sounds way less plausible.
As in past the buck? Oh, that's a good case for it.
Maybe
though.
that's where past the buck came from.
The buck stops here, that kind of thing.
Oh, now you bring that up. It sounds more plausible.
Bronco. No.
Say the P in psychology. Psychology.
Psychology.
Say the P in pneumonia.
Pneumonia.
What?
Pterodactyls.
Most of the silent K's in English used to be pronounced.
Yep. Like knights and knife.
Yeah.
In Greek, you actually do put out the P in pneuma, because pneuma is wind or spirit.
Makes
so
sense why
pneumonia has a P because it's Greek.
Makes sense.
You're Greek.
No, I have no Greek.
There's another thing from Minnesota. We do. I had a substitute teacher get really angry at this when I was in high school. She went on a rant about it. She was from Texas, and she says, "I just don't understand. You end your sentences with a preposition. You always say, 'Hey, do you want to come with? Come with where? Come with who?'
Come with me and you'll see." And then she goes into the whole dance routine.
Oh, I wish.
There's also a lot of sentences that end with a preposition that don't make sense if you don't.
That is something with which I will not put up.
Mm-hmm.
I won't put up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like in Beavis and Butthead, the movie, when he tells them, "Isn't that the guy whose shed they were whacking off in?" And he's like, "We do not end our sentences with prepositions." He's like, "Isn't that the guy off in whose shed they were whacking?"
That's just dumb enough.
That's great. It really helps because I haven't seen it. It's very funny.
All the jokes, none of the annoying show.
Is everyone here like an ex-Christian, or are someone here like not an ex-Christian?
Yeah, we're all ex-Christian.
Oh, okay.
For what it's
Mine's
worth.
a little more complicated than that, but yeah, fair enough.
Because like, were y'all not allowed to watch those kind of shows? Because I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons.
My mom wasn't really religious, but I wasn't allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead when I was a kid. But she didn't want me to play Dungeons and Dragons either.
My parents were fundamentalists unless it came to TV.
Okay.
Like they would literally let me watch anything that was on network because that's all we had, and because they thought network was a good censor of. I think my mom and dad were also not stupid enough to believe that I wouldn't go over to a friend's house and just watch it there.
Yeah.
I remember the most jarring, like I thought I was relatively conservative in my religion, but only relative to my family and my church. But I remember at one time I was in the neighborhood just biking around and saw this lemonade stand. And I wanted to buy some lemonade, but I was on my way to just like, I had a sketch pad next to me and I just wanted to like go draw some stuff in the park just to like relax. And the girl running the lemonade stand asked me, "Hey, what are you drawing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just drawing some Pokemon. Would you like me to draw you a Pokemon?" And she said, "Oh no, mommy says Pokemon's from the devil." And there's this mom sitting behind the girl and she was like, "That's my girl." It's like, oh my God.
Fuck you, Pikachu.
That was my first exposure to the idea that like the people that really take the Bible seriously when it talks about witches and witchcraft and magic, and like anyone that even mentions magic is banned.
Though whatever God does is magic.
Well, they straight up, they kind of ignore the part where like magic is used by people who are, I mean,
yeah, Moses, Aaron,
like the staff above the head, that is magic. And then like
the staff turning into a snake, the touching of the water with the staff turning to blood,
Saul using a medium to summon Samuel from the grave to talk to him
from the grave.
It is like banned in every circumstance except for there.
And Jesus talking to who? Moses and Ezekiel in the garden.
Yeah. The thing I realized about after leaving Christianity was how there is a hierarchy. Like they don't admit it, but there's like a heavenly hierarchy. There's like, you know, God, and then there's like angels, and there's like the Nephilim, and then there's like these like magical serpents that do chaos, and then like all this other stuff. Like it's a full-on polytheism in everything but name. Just my opinion, though.
Well, that's where straight up started out as polytheism. We know this to be a fact.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, pre-exile.
Terrifying, Jonathan. What is that? Can you send me a screenshot of that? That is scary.
That's Hefton.
No, that's the pill from Osmosis Jones.
Except this time it's personal.
My favorite retort to "Did you understand that the Israelites were polytheist until the exile?" was, well, that's why they got put into exile by God, because they were polytheists.
Oh my God, dude. Sweet, I could talk to you all day.
Yeah, we can leave you guys alone if you guys need some time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we could talk about heart valves. We can talk about Lutherans.
You could make out.
Yeah. Got him.
Drink.
You want to know, if you want to know a Lutheran, you ask them how they can tell their potluck pots apart.
What? I haven't heard this one.
Well, you know, the Lutheran thing to do on Sundays is to have the potluck.
Oh my gosh.
And so everyone brings their casserole dishes and everything else that everything's in. And so you have to have the masking tape written with the names of the name of whoever brought it. And the thing is that you the people that were the good cooks could always easily tell which one was theirs, because they could turn their dish over, whereas the people had to hold it up and look under who, if they weren't good cooks, because no one would eat what was in their stuff.
Oh my gosh. That's like, wow. I went to too big of a church for that to happen. We didn't have potlucks. There's too many people in the church. Anyone else here attend a mega church? Like my family slowly transitioned from like a pretty classic Lutheran church to like a pretty bizarre evangelical Lutheran church, then to a non-denominational church. And that non-denominational church is the largest church in Minnesota. And so I feel like I can just say their name, but it was like Eaglebrook. And like, I knew I was in a mega church when they had a fundraiser for Easter, and they were like, we just need 2 more people to give $1 million. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we're not building a well. We're building a town in Africa. I'm like, what?
Minus administration fees.
Oh my God. It's a full-on megachurch.
We went to a campus church in Ames, Iowa State University, and it was very interesting because we would actually have professors come in and talk about how they could still be a professor and a Christian at the same time, especially a couple of them that were like biology professors and things like that. And what I learned is that from their perspective, and I didn't hear them until it was years later, and then I understood the words that they were using and how they were using them was, yeah, on Sunday I wear different clothes than I do every other day of the week is kind of what they were saying.
Yeah. Like I'm writing a script on a video where I engage with C.S. Lewis's theology in his Mere Christianity book. And like, he's very famous for converting Francis Collins, the guy who did the Human Genome Project, the guy who was the NIH director during the COVID epidemic in the US. Like, he's a very famous epidemiologist, biologist, like evolutionary scientist, and he's a very famous Christian, and people love to throw his name around. And it's like, yeah, there's ways you can like twist it to make it work, but I don't really feel like you're following the spirit of the written word. My biggest criticism of like, so Mere Christianity, like from C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis is like, he's supposed to be the what is he called? The separate seating for dinosaurs. C.S. Lewis is like called the evangelist to skeptics or something like that. Like he's famous for like being a skeptic but still converting to Christianity. And
yeah, he's absolute shit.
I know. I don't know if it's absolute shit. Like the guy, I liked Chronicles of Narnia growing up. I like this other sci-fi stuff. Like, he's a decent writer, and he does his best to make a good case for Christianity. But there's like these subtle holes in it that just really fall apart. But the worst part, I got to share this. The worst part of all, I read his whole book. The worst part of all was when he tried to say that, first off, every polytheism has one God that's the highest of all. And also, that God can be no less than 3 people. Like, he tried to make an argument from reason with no relation to scripture. And it was bizarre. He was like, well, you can't ever have love in a universe unless you have more than one person. But you can't have perfect love between a perfect being and an imperfect being. So the perfect being has to be at least 2. And that love, that has to be a 3rd person. So like at least 3. And I'm like, what the fuck?
C-tier sophistry, man.
The thing is,
not even convincing.
C.S. Lewis doesn't make any sense unless you remember that he is a presuppositionalist who does not want to admit that he's a presuppositionalist.
There's some things he did that I think are actually great. And I like to remind Christians that C.S. Lewis said this, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a good point. First off, he thinks that Jesus made a failed prediction. He fundamentally thinks that Jesus failed to predict the end times. He said Jesus said like the end times will come before you all die or something like that. And C.S. Lewis has said this is the most embarrassing thing of the Old Testament. But immediately after that, Jesus said, "But we do not know the time or the day or the hour." And clearly that means that Jesus, as God in our world, had limited access to the divine knowledge, and so he couldn't know. And so he made mistakes, including knowledge mistakes. I'm like, what? Sure, yeah, I'm going with it.
The Mormons will tell you that Paul is still alive, but they will also say that they have their own 12. Like, apparently Paul's not an apostle anymore because they have 12 apostles. None of them are Paul. So I don't know if that makes any. It's almost like these people are completely irrational and their worldview doesn't make any sense.
And then Chris Rock is their 13th apostle.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole 12 apostle thing is just like every time every time they list 12 apostles, they list different names, and the excuse for it is, well, everyone had a different name back then. But like, no, it's like in all other areas of the Bible, it says that he has more than 12 apostles. You just arbitrarily said 12 because 12 tribes of Israel.
My favorite part is in Acts when after Judas kills himself, they have to figure out, oh, we need to add one now.
And they toss sticks. They throw lots to figure out who is the right one. I can't.
Where did it say he had more than 12 apostles?
No. He lost an apostle because Judas died, and so he had to find another one.
Just a moment ago, you said that other places in the Bible say that he had more than 12 apostles, didn't you?
Oh, there's lots of places that say he had many followers. He had 500 followers. He had 200.
Oh, those are his disciples.
Oh,
there's a distinction. Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Like the people who wrote the books, in my opinion, just said, there was 12 important ones.
The 12 important ones, but we're really only going to talk about maybe 4 of them.
I know. It's just, oh my God. Like, yeah, but clearly, there's so much evidence of the resurrection because he appeared to the 500. I'm like, yeah, according to one person. Yeah, but he appeared to the 12. Yeah, according to one person. Like, what are you talking about?
He appeared to 500 people. Do we have their names?
No,
do we have their written account?
Writing, and if somebody wanted to know, they could have asked.
Like if Jesus Christ appeared to me and it was 34 AD and I couldn't, if I was illiterate, I would have been like, fuck, somebody needs to hear about this and this needs to get written down.
Right? You would learn. I bet. Except the greatest thing of Christianity is that none of their disciples or apostles could write, except for Paul, who wasn't even a disciple. He never met Jesus. Or he met the risen Jesus. Well, sure, whatever. But he seemed to disagree pretty stridently with all the existing apostles. So I don't think he really met the risen Jesus.
He met a Jesus impersonator.
Yeah.
Didn't he and Simon Peter have a pretty much shouting match?
Yeah, he called Simon a hypocrite. He got called to Jerusalem to say, like, yo, Paul, you're saying these Gentiles are converted, but you're doing it wrong. You got to be like a Jew. It's all about the coming kingdom of the Jews. Come on, like, what's going on? And Paul's like, no, anyone can be saved. And so they finally agreed, like, okay, you know what? It's kind of a tough requirement to make all the Gentiles be circumcised, but you know what? They still can't eat blood. Can't have any meat.
I love it.
And Paul's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And then like the next letter in like Corinthians, he's like, you can eat whatever you want. Hey, fuck them, I don't care.
And one of the things that really got to me though was when somebody explained, and I don't remember which video it was, but somebody was like, you view all these letters that Paul wrote as like a universal letter. No, he was writing to a very specific city that was having a very specific issue that he identified himself. And within the context of what was going on in that city with all the, the historical context and leaders and whatever and everything else, you don't know shit about those letters.
It's all a holdover. It's all a holdover from the people who are Messianism is a fundamental like sect of Judaism. Not all Jews believed the Messiah was coming or whatever.
Yeah, the Messianic sects.
Yeah, the Messianic sects tried to reinterpret everything that was written. Everything that was written in the past, they tried to reinterpret as applying to their current day, and that is the environment in which Christianity was birthed. And so Christianity did the same thing to all their scriptures. I still don't understand why people think the New Testament is authoritative. I can't even find a reason in Christianity to believe that. At no point does Jesus say there will be new scriptures. He says, I will not banish the old scriptures. He has nothing to say about new scriptures. Everything, like as far as I can tell, even church history says people wrote things trying to capture Jesus's life, and they did their best job. That's it. Until like, I don't know, like the year like Middle Ages area, where they were like declared official authoritative from God's scriptures. Like, yeah.
Well, that was what the Council of Nicaea that did that?
No, the Council of Nicaea didn't make any decision on that. Council of Nicaea was all about the Arians. They had nothing to do with the like, what are the official scripts that tell our religion apart from the rest? That was not until
wasn't the Council of Nicaea where we get Athanasia and the Nicene Creed?
Yeah, the Nicene Creed's from Nicaea. Yeah.
But didn't we also get the Athanasian Creed from that?
I don't know that one.
That's the really long one.
Oh,
the Euthanasia Creed.
The Euthanasian Creed. Oh my God.
There's the Apostles' Creed. There's the Athanasian Creed, and the Nicene Creed.
Okay, I didn't know the Athanasian Creed. In my house, we had pictures of the creeds. Well, not really, but like I remember I used to say the Lord's Prayer, the Nicene Creed, and then there was like the Prayer of Jezebel or something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we had the Athanasian Creed was only ever said on one day, and it was memorized by those of us in communion and confirmation. It was on our first communion that we said it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and it's like 4 pages long.
They'll make 3 movies out of this shit someday. 3 C.S. Lewis. That's so funny. I gotta say, so C.S. Lewis reportedly, I was going to talk about this in my video. I was writing the script today. I tried to talk a little bit of the background of the book before I talk about the book, which is that it was during World War II. Britain's being bombed like incessantly from the Germans. Like they're a bleak outlook on life right now. And this guy comes on the radio who seems to know what he's talking about, and he speaks in plain language, explaining the concept of morality and how it applies to Christianity. And he just like wins over the populace. I was told that C.S. Lewis was as popular as Winston Churchill on the radio at that time, and like he was a huge influence. But the guy just, it makes no sense to me how he went from. It makes a tiny bit of sense to me how he went from like, I'm an atheist. He converted to atheism, by the way, when he was 15. So he was like raised in the Church of Ireland, went to atheism at 15. There was an atheist for a long time. Then at the age of 31, he was convinced by J.R.R. Tolkien and others that theism was true, not Christianity, but theism. Then 2 years later, at age 33, he said that theism was true, except much to the chagrin of J.R.R. Tolkien, he refused to join the Catholic faith, which J.R.R. Tolkien was a part of. He decided to join the Anglican faith of his country. And I have no sense in his like decision to go from theism to Christianity, other than, well, I'm a theist. What theists are around me? No, it's only this one. Like that's the only thing I can make of it. Ugh.
I did an interview with an Anglican monk, priest, dude. He was pretty chill. He was wrong about a lot of shit, but he was a genuinely nice fellow. And he didn't wish ill on anyone, which is acceptable.
See, that's the thing. I make a point if I'm talking to someone and I realize they're like, yeah, I think this is true, but I don't have good reasons for it. I don't really fight with them that much. It's when they're like trying to convince people.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this blasphemy. You see this shit, Swede? You see this shit right here? See the disrespect?
That's what you get from somebody from Arkansas who doesn't know anything about it. Food.
You don't even have barbecue. Yeah,
Swede, did you actually go to seminary?
No, I did not. I did the whole pre-seminary program. I learned Greek, Hebrew, Latin, have 30 some hours of theology.
All you need is Greek and Hebrew. Why Latin?
What?
All you need is Greek and Hebrew. Why Latin?
We did Latin in the senior year so that we could read certain texts, old church texts in their original language to see their, because original language has different purpose.
Maybe like the Bible wasn't in Latin at any point. It was all Greek and Hebrew, other than like the early church fathers.
But it was church writings that were in Latin. So the LCMS was big on you learning Latin.
That's really interesting.
So
one of my first Latin facts that I ever learned, as someone who does not study Latin, I have no idea anything about it. I remember the pastor that finally taught me that. Well, the guy who taught me about how like hell was not the original word and yada yada. There's like 4 words that are translated to hell. He talked about how Lucifer is a morning star. Like it's the word for Venus in Latin. Mm-hmm. And in the original Latin manuscripts, I can't remember what the manuscript was. It's not capitalized. It's not a name. And then in the King James Bible, they made it a name.
That was one of the very first questions I asked in the pre-seminary program that started probably putting that seed of doubt in my head was I was like, when we translated I saw you morning star fall from, talking about Babylon, not Satan. They're talking about the fall of Babylon.
Oh, it's so clear.
And then the other one was you start Greek before you start Hebrew. So I started Greek my freshman year, and then your second year you're in second year Greek and first year Hebrew. And you start translating John as your first, because the writers of John basically had a second or third grade understanding of the Greek language, so it's the easiest to translate because it's the easiest vocabulary to get introduced to.
It's in baby speak.
Yeah, it essentially it is. And then and contrasting that, you don't translate Luke until the very end because it was written by somebody who freaking knew the language.
Yeah.
Or writers that knew the language. But
I like Luke for that reason. Yeah.
When you get into how Revelation was written, and all of a sudden you start realizing it was just a political treatise written in code because they didn't want to get murdered by the local authorities for writing something that insulted the Caesar.
How dare you?
I had a Christian. He's still like DMing me on Twitter, and he was talking about his opinions on the afterlife, and I was like, yeah, but what Revelation said? He's like, well, I interpret it this way. So I reread the whole thing. I hadn't reread it since I was a Christian. And Revelations, I don't know why I didn't understand this as a Christian. It's like explicit. Like, it's not subtle. It's like, oh, by the way, it has a couple of verses like, by the way, when I say beast, I mean this kingdom right here. Like, and these heads mean this. And like, it's very explicit in that none of this is reality. And yet,
but it's a very the way it was explained to me was it was a very popular writing style to conceal your true intent from Hebrew writers. It just happens to be in Greek.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm taking a look at the time. I think that is enough for today's after party. Let me go to my banner so I can be Neil. That's the song that I sing when I do that. Thanks to everyone in the chats on YouTube, Twitch, and the Twitters. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Smash that like button. And thank you guys for being patrons of the show. The show really does depend on those. So patreon.com/604atheist. If you are balling because you just got your tax refund. And there's tons of free ways to help the show, sharing out the links, liking everything when he pops up. Follow Neil on Twitter at 604atheist. Baxter's episode, the link to that one is down in the description. So if you guys want to go back and watch the deconversion story, it was a very powerful one. A little one. Oh, there he is. That was awesome.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I was just talking about you had a very relatable deconversion story. I think a lot of people that's really going to resonate with them. And the link is down below. So until Tuesday, I'm not sure who Neil has on Tuesday. Like the late great Carl Sagan once said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Thanks, guys. We will see you Tuesday. Goodbye.